We're live.
For life.
What do you have to say, Ryan?
Huh?
What were you saying?
I was commenting on Chris's adorable mask.
My Cthulhu mask. I figure, if we've got to do the hacker hoodie shit, this is it. This is now. I'm done with this whole freaking faceless hacker hoodie or the other shit. This is it.
Shit. Ryan, do you have anything? I can go grab something.
I was commenting on feedback.
There's some feedback. Oh yeah, hang on. That's probably me. Hang on, that's me. Yeah, try that. I'm reading this stupid thing now.
No feedback.
Right. That should be better. Is that better?
That's better.
Yeah, sorry, my fault. I have the YouTube up so I can watch people.
Mm-hmm.
All right, I'm taking this off. It's getting too warm, and I can't eat, and I can't drink beer.
So how's the week?
I pissed off a billionaire, and not the first time I've pissed off a billionaire, but apparently I think I've pissed off. I think he's a billionaire anyway. According to some background research I did, he's a billionaire.
Really? Can you say who?
Yeah, the individual that who called out the Komodo guy.
He's a billionaire?
Apparently he is, yeah. Or according to, I did a little bit of research on him because I'm like, who the hell is it? So this was the guy that on LinkedIn basically started to call out the fact that, ClownStrike is, ClownStrike's terrible at what they do and everybody else is wonderful.
What I just did.
Yada, yada, yada.
Two going on now. Check that out.
There we go. CEO of MaveCap. So it's actually the equity organization that's behind ClownStrike and everything else. And so, apparently I managed to annoy him. It's been an interesting set of conversations. He basically said, ClownStrike's a 22 billion company. We're ready to take them on. This is Komodo. And but we can't beat ClownStrike. And we're the only company who can protect with the need to detect. So I called bullshit. I called it dick waving, which, let's face it, it is dick waving. And he took exception. Life was fun.
So now feedback 7.
No, now I fucking around with shit. Sorry. Hold on, man. I'm playing around with stuff I shouldn't be playing around with. You guys keep talking. All right, so ClownStrike.
Oh, go on. You. All right, sorry. Go on. You do what you're doing. I was going to ask Evan. I was going to ask Ryan how his week was.
Well, he's not messing around with stuff. He's probably been behaving.
Me?
Yeah.
It's been a good week. It's been a busy week. I've had some new ways of thinking about and framing ideas. Right? That's always fun. Man, it's the hustle. It's COVID, so it's good and it's weird and we're doing we're just doing. I'm just doing. I'm like, screw it. Today's a day to be happy. Let's make the best of whatever I can. And so yeah, it's been fun, man. I've seen some crazy stuff. Bad power, I got a lot of feelings and ideas about how bad power needs to not be FUD, but reality check.
How bad?
Use that to shake people awake. That's occupied probably about a day and a half worth of thought. Like, how do you reframe that for everybody? Because if I tell somebody I can start their house on fire with my cell phone, I generally can get their attention.
I just hit this one up on Gabrielle and I were talking about this because he wants to put another one of the short videos out, and we were talking about that. I'm using your thing because it's analog human digital world. I'm like, okay, telling people downloading apps is bad because the apps can have access to everything doesn't seem to make it work. So we started this whole attacker versus hacker versus all these other words. End up hitting Twitter on it because I'm like, okay, I need some help with this. I need some help trying to figure out the best way as a general. I don't want to specify a situation. I mean, one fucking general term I can use for attacking or whatever else. And the best one so far that's come up with that kind of resonates is steal. Because we know that at the human level, and it actually represents what we're doing at the digital level. So yeah, I'm kind of with you, just trying to figure out how the hell we get people to actually think human, analog, digital. It's a challenge.
Well, and that's, it's digital first. We're in a digital first society, right? So as I'm working my way through my own thought process around this, like I have the idea, but the idea is obviously deeper. And so as I think my way through it, tomorrow I'll be talking on Secure Nations coffee table about TikTok.
Ooh.
And this feeds into, right, and big hats off, by the way, and a big shout out, Rachel, you're doing a great job. You're running
you're on that one tomorrow with her.
Yes.
Oh,
yeah.
Nice.
And May and Robert.
Yeah.
So, it's and we had a great pre-call today. That was awesome. Just because because everybody just grooves. We get it. We get that, like, we use the tech for life. Now we just need to get everybody else to get that they're using the tech for life. So that'll be fun. It was good. I got to hang out with Evan and eat ghost chili jerky.
Ooh, from the pepper shop?
From his the butcher shop.
Oh, now there's interesting. The only place I found that is the Pepper Palace that was in the airport. Boston Airport had a Pepper Palace, and there's actually one up the road here now, apparently.
Pepper Palace?
Yeah, I think that's what it's called.
Yeah. Yep.
Is that what it is called? Yeah. They're totally awesome. They got some really, really fun stuff in there, like some good spices and shit you can put in dead animal and vegetables all over the place. There's actually some cool stuff.
We had a good call with Gabe today, too.
We did.
Oh, how'd that go?
Awesome. Gabe's top notch, man.
He's a good human. He's a good human. Yeah, he's a good human. I always forget. I mean, it's amazing talking with him and working with him. Every now and again, he reminds me, he's like, we're talking about something and he puts a phrase together or he puts an entire sentence and I start rewording and he's like, remember English second language for me. And I totally forget that because, I mean, it's so freaking eloquent. And yet, all the euphemisms that we tend to use, especially inside our industry and converting those into English. We're still doing the Wisenary, the whole compendium. I've got Jen here who helps me in the office. She's building out a spreadsheet of like all of the terms, the couple of different places we've pulled terms in from, and then the Geek to English version that we're doing at the moment. And that spreadsheet is getting long, it's getting big. So we're going to be updating that thing probably every week or so.
Nice.
Yeah, ton of fun. Yeah, he's good. There's a lot of good stuff going on with him.
I switched from my laptop to my iPad.
Nice. It still shows your laptop as a presence though. Although it's actually, it shows it on my version, but it doesn't show on YouTube. So who cares?
Right.
Yeah, I had to figure that out, and then
I haven't seen Rachel yet.
What? We can't start without Rachel.
I haven't seen Rachel on yet. Shoot her a message. Hang on.
So now I'm on my iPad. I can walk around. You guys can check out my house, scope it out if you want.
Splendid.
Looks like I'm in the bathroom, but I'm not. It's just whatever they call that shit. What do they call this shit?
Wainscoting.
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 Well, Wayne's a dumbass. He shouldn't have done it. All right. Yeah, so we hung out today. That was cool, man. I appreciated it. It was cool to see you face to face. We didn't social distance, so whatever.
You both got bugs. Who cares?
We were in 3D. I mean, that was the important part of the day. And honestly, I can tell you 100% that Evan and I together, things get done. We got more done in 5 minutes in a room in physical presence than we've gotten done in 2 weeks trying to do things remote. So
yeah, that's totally true, man. I mean, there's a lot of benefit to being face to face,
Well, I think it's because there's a short circuiting. I think there's a non-spoken communication, if you will, that gets like, if you get close enough to somebody, it's just that transfer of, I'm picking up what you're laying down and you haven't used a word yet.
Yeah.
That digital does not convey.
Yeah. Yeah, totally.
It's the frame rate. It's too low of a frame rate.
Yeah, man. Yeah. I don't know what it is, but yeah, the 3D thing is a real deal.
Oh, that's yummy.
So I don't know if I
It's good.
accidentally found every one of Harley's service manuals, tech manuals, wiring diagrams for every one of them
Ooh,
ever made.
nice.
Yeah, on accident. I haven't told them about it yet, but if they watch the shit show, they'll find out.
Mm-hmm.
Hopefully they don't find out before I get the manuals that I wanted, which is the ones for my bike, so I can fix it.
What happened?
Well, it's the one I hit the deer with.
Okay, got it.
Yeah, putting it back together again, and got a little crisscrossed on, some of the wiring, but I'll figure it out. Especially now that I have I have all the software updates,
Yeah.
all the bike ECMs on the bikes, the applications, all kinds of shit. But yeah, I'm not interested in really telling them about it yet until I find the ones that I need. But it's like 7,682 documents.
You need to drop that into something and then grep the hell out of it, or index the hell out of it so that you can just grep it.
Yeah. I mean, I don't plan on, profiting from it. I'm not going to sell it. I'm not going to do shitty shit with it. I just want to fix my bike. They should make that stuff available anyway.
100%.
That whole right to repair thing. That's why Jesse. So, to your guys' point about meeting, a bunch of the HHS crew get together on Friday nights. On Friday nights is dinner and pie. So we don't get together till about 8:30 at night. I'll typically bring food over. One of us will bring food over. I always bring pie. Pie goes in the oven. We have dinner. We have pie. We talk through work. We go through work. We go through stuff. And then that's it. We're done. And we get so much fucking shit done in that time. I mean, there's a bunch of BSing and messing around. We get so much stuff done in that time. It's ridiculous.
That's cool. So every Friday night?
Mm-hmm.
Every Friday night?
Mm-hmm.
Cool.
Yeah, it's just gorgeous. Sit down and get together.
Love it.
To that point, we were talking about John Deere and the whole right to repair thing with all the farm machinery. And the same thing. I mean, it's bullshit at the moment with the inability to repair the very $250,000 device that you actually bought.
Right. Yeah, I mean, it started out just kind of, scoping around trying to find, my diagram, the wiring diagram, and then, you find a directory, you find a hidden directory, you find another one, and next thing you know, you're like, oh shit, all right, here's all of it.
Mm-hmm.
So not too technical, but certainly helpful.
I mean, they leave the links out there. I mean, that's
right.
Again, it's Google foo. It's all it's doing is half the time it's a matter is looking for the damn stuff.
Exactly. All right. So tonight, I guess my topic, and it's one of the things that I deal with all the time. So, it's kind of personal to me. I'm always kind of asking myself, well, and other people are asking me too, like, why are you doing this? Like last weekend, for instance, it was Saturday night, about 10:30 p.m. My wife and I were my dog passed away last week.
Mm-hmm.
And so we're, coping with shit. And then, so we were looking for another dog, right? My dog was really small. It's called the Chorky. It's Chihuahua and Yorkie combined. So they call him Chorky. He was like 5 pounds, but the coolest little son of a bitch ever. So we were looking for another Chorky. Now that's a really rare breed. So I can't find one anywhere. So I started looking at, so I found an app that I could search every Craigslist across the country. Right. And so I'm searching every Craigslist and I find one in Indiana. And I'm like, fuck, Indiana's really far away. I don't know. So I'm debating. I'm like, well, honey, I'm telling my wife, let's just wait. Let's find something closer. And then 10:30 on Saturday night, I'm like, fuck it, I'm going to Indiana. I got in my truck, drove straight through, got there at I don't know, 9 o'clock in the morning their time. And then there's a whole story about the dog. The police got involved and everything, but that's a whole other story. Yeah, it was, well, I got him involved because whatever.
Yeah.
Long story short, I finally got the damn dog and then drove back home. I got home at Sunday at 11:30 p.m. But you've seen the dog on Twitter, man. I mean, holy
I
shit,
saw the
right?
dog just curled up in the bed. I'm like, oh my God, that was so freaking awesome.
Yeah, this dog is amazing. So 2 pounds, 2 ounces.
Oh my gosh.
Right? Your dog wouldn't even
I
have that.
feed my dog more food than that on a daily
Right.
basis.
I know, right?
My dog probably poos more than that, to be honest, without being too crude about it.
No, true. Well, and this dog, 2 pounds, 2 ounces, but she walks around here like she's one of your dogs.
That's awesome.
She's a badass, you know. Yeah, she doesn't back down from anything. The other dogs are scared of her. But anyway, back to the why. You know, I do shit like that all the time. You know, just weird shit, right? Like, and you know, I stop sometimes, or somebody will stop me and ask me why. Why are you doing this? Why? You know, so on the surface, it would seem really crazy for that somebody would stay up 36 straight hours to get a damn dog and pay $700 for it, and you know, whatever. So, but that's what I did. And the same thing happens though at work. You know, you see at times all the time. You know, I've consulted now for many years, done security for many years, and seen a lot of things that are like, why the hell are you doing that? Why did you buy that? Why are you even in this business? You know, why am I in this business? I mean, there's just so many things. And I think it's healthy to regularly ask yourself, why? Why am I doing this? What's my purpose here? So that was, you know, that's the topic. And then if I have my why, let's say I'm pretty honest with myself, right? I do, you know, self-reflection pretty well. And, you know, I got my why figured out, you know, I'm cool. And, but I got to work with other people, right? I'm not in this by myself. I can't do this by myself. So I have to work with other people. What if their why is totally different than my why? You and I have talked, and Ryan, we've talked about, why don't we go rogue?
Yeah.
I mean, if I was motivated by money, if my purpose was to make a shitload of money, well, then I'm not sitting here on the shit show.
Right.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, that's a tough one, because I mean, I'll stick my hand up right now and go, I am financially motivated, not by choice, because of the shit show I got into back in 2015 with Owl and everything.
Okay.
Signed something I should never have signed. I'm on the hook for the best part of just close to $1,800,000. I have to be financially motivated. If I didn't have that, I wouldn't be. I'd be doing things because I want to, because I enjoy it, because it's cool, and you know what? It's a benefit you get paid.
Right.
Unfortunately, the money thing for me has to come up pretty close to the top, unfortunately, at the moment, and it will do for X number of years.
Well, yeah, but there's good money and there's bad money.
Right.
I don't know. I
mean, you do know, right? Like what Evan was getting at is the why behind why don't we go rogue? Why are we not black hatting all day, every day, profiting off of dummies who, you know, don't know they're dummies because we didn't do our job and teach them so that they would be wise.
I just found a laptop that had E-Trade username, password, and options exercise pin.
Oh, joy vey. Yeah. So that I wholeheartedly agree with. Don't get me wrong. I would not. All right. I would not take advantage of anybody who can defend themselves. We'll start with that one. That's not the full caveat. But the stuff that we did 10 years ago now, probably 10 years or so ago now with the Nigerians, probably more than that, 12 years ago, so with the Nigerians, I would do that. There is a chunk of me over here, that little voice that sits over here, that goes, go take the money off those that are taking the money. Now, I mean, we start them in the wallets that I'm sitting on that I can't do anything with. That was basically a hack back thing, because I'm like, okay, people are stealing everybody else's wallets. Fuck it, I'm just going to go steal them from them. I don't know what the hell I'm going to do with the stupid things. But that was that. I wouldn't take it from and again, there's that the ethics part of it. You know, if you're stealing from somebody else, I'm taking it from you. The problem is, what the hell do I do with it then? I shouldn't use it personally, donate it, give it away. Unfortunately, most of the time it ends up with the feds, and then they'll deal with it. But I mean, I'll be really honest. With that hanging around my neck, there is a serious temptation to go after like the drug money or the Bitcoin fraud or any of the other fraud shit. Take the 800,000, write the ex a check for 800,000, and say fuck it. Then I can do what I want to do.
Mhm.
And it's really not the right thing to do.
Right. So Chris, why don't you do it? What's your motivation? What is your anchor point?
Well, and that's the point, right? We've got, because I'll let Chris get back to that because it'll be interesting. But yeah, I have my why, you have your why. If our whys aren't in alignment, we're adversaries, right? In a lot of different ways. Because if my why is to do good and your why is to do bad, well, then good fights bad, and we find ourselves not doing things well together. But then there's the other why. There's a whole nother why. Like, what about them?
Yeah.
The business people, the people at home. What's their why? Why do they do security? Why do they not do security? What's their motivator? And that's, that came up today too in our conversation with Gabe. On the phone was, you have to figure out what their motivator is. What's going to motivate them, right? And once you figure out what their purpose is, well, then you can tap into that and you can, align and work together. Otherwise, I think a lot of times their why is in misalignment with our why, or at least it's perceived that way. So then we're adversaries. They don't listen to us because they don't give a shit.
Yeah.
So that's the kind of the topic, and we can take it however we want to take it. And I totally understand the bind you're in, Chris, and I respect it. I really do, because with your skills, I mean, you're a click away, man, from making that problem go away.
I know, and believe me, there's been a few times of sitting at this keyboard, especially last year, especially of just basically throwing the fuck it towel and just doing it. Problem is, where do you stop?
Aren't kids great? Aren't children great? Isn't it cool to be a dad? Because I don't know about you, but part of my why.
Yeah. Oh, I know.
Stay in the lane. I'm trying to stay in the lane. If I raised a human and I said, you need to behave and you need to do the thing and be productive and don't be that guy. Yeah. The temptation is strong because it's easy. And if done well, it's very easy to get away with it. So,
But how long do you get away with it?
That doesn't make for a good eulogy.
No. Well, and that's the other problem is, it isn't just how long do you get away with it for. I mean, taking the pearly gate discussion out of it for a second. Can you really get away with it? Potentially.
Not permanently.
And so that's the question. And I mean, several things. One, if all of a sudden I turn up to the ex and the ex's lawyer and say, hey, I got a check for, $500,000, let's just say, will you take it? Probably the answer would be yes. The next question from somebody somewhere, the tax man or somebody else, is going to be, so Mr. Roberts, where the hell did you come up with that money? Well, I hit it lucky on the lottery or this. We'll prove it.
Right.
Then you've got to do a whole backstory there. Or even if I didn't come up with that, to your point, my daughter goes, hey, congrats, Dad, where the hell did you come up with the money? Well, it just landed in my lap. It was an opportunity moment. So
as a good financial advisor friend of mine would say, that's what a trust's for.
Yeah.
And that's a whole nother.
That's a different show.
Yeah.
Well, totally. But it's good. It's a great topic, man. And I totally want to go down that rabbit hole. But what was motivating me on this topic was just how many times I get frustrated and get pissed off because I see people do things, and I see people spend money, and I see people make decisions, and there's no purpose behind it. There's no why. Why did you do that? Well, because I had budget.
Yeah.
What's any reason? Or because the other company across the street is doing it. That's also a shitty reason, right? Why do companies like, these dipshits, Komodo and, why are they going after each other?
Ooh, pick me.
Yeah, go. I've said my piece. I've pissed off
compliance. Because somebody said they had to. Compliance. We know this. Wait, how many times have we run into it? Why are you doing? Well, we gotta check the box.
That's
And
why
talk
you're doing
to
a pen
any
test, because we
finance
got told.
company, banking institution. Because if we don't, we can't be a business. That's why. That's where it started.
But how often do we ask people why? Like I've asked numerous times, sat across from very powerful CISOs in this industry, and asked them why.
Yep.
Why are you doing this? Why?
Yep.
Why? You know, like one guy I'm thinking of right now just pops into my head. It's a big company out in New York, and he was talking about how, you know, they've really matured their security program, but sometimes people just can't stop. Right? They can't just be sort of like, hey, we are sort of good enough. We're at that acceptable risk level. We've got many things covered. So you don't need to keep just adding on shit just because it's the newest shit that's out there and just put it into your environment. And so he was going through and he had me come out and look at his plan for, I think it was 2019. Hey, Evan, can you take a look at my plan for this year, my staffing plan, my budget, and just give me some advice? And so he goes through this whole spiel. And at the end, he goes, so what do you think? And I said, I'll call him Jim. I go, Jim, it's great. It's very impressive. I'm certain the board will be impressed by this. But why?
Yeah.
It's like, why what? Why all this shit? Why did you make this so damn complicated? Why do you keep adding staff when you don't need staff? Why do you keep spending money when you don't need to spend any more money? You've got a pretty good security program. Why don't you focus on simplification? Well, because then I'll maybe lose my budget. Well, okay, so is that your why? You want to protect your budget. You want to protect your turf.
And that's I've got money. If I don't spend it, I lose it, and I won't get as much next year. I'm like, fine, give it back to the fucking business. Let them use it for something else.
Right, like growing your business.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that and how many times have you heard, to your point, Ryan, how many times have we heard, I just need to be compliant? Right? Check the box.
Pretty much how one gains experience in this industry, if I remember correctly, is doing what is this quarterly logical access audit that needs to be done? You want me to do what again? Go around to people with this Excel sheet and a pen and check a box and then type it back into the computer?
Right.
Okay. That's a job. You get paid for that?
What's the minimum number of things I need to do to stay out of trouble?
100%. That's one thing I like about working with you. And we talked about this when I left the public sector to come back into the private sector. Was I didn't want to make shitty people rich and keep shitty people out of jail.
Yeah.
I did not want that to be what my contributions led to. I have thoughts and ideas and things, and I didn't want to give that into the world through a vehicle that was, gonna use that to weaponize or to, it just, because that's where we're at, guys. Like some of the, these days people weaponizing ideas. So you gotta be.
That's the 0-day exploit world. I mean, let's face it. Speaking of Komodo, guess who spent a couple of hours this evening downloading their advanced whatever the hell it's called. It's running on a virtual machine. I'm going to beat the fucking shit out of that thing. And then that CEO of whatever the hell, Maven, we will drop some exploits on LinkedIn, and let him. I mean, he'll come up with arguments. It is what it is, but it'll be fun putting A, B, and C up there. Anyway, sorry, yeah. But I mean, that's the thing. In the exploits, I can either monetize that exploit by giving it or selling it to an agency. I can monetize it by using it myself. I have a lot of love for Hack1 and Bugcrowd, I got to admit. So monetize it that way is actually effective because then it gets back into the system.
Right.
But let's face it, we built Ant Farm and a bunch of other shit off of exploits that haven't hit the light of day for 10, 15 years.
Or yet.
This is the argument with the FBI. The FBI is bitching up and down and screaming that they don't have access to iPhones. Yeah. How many agencies do have access to iPhones, but they're fucked if they're going to give the FBI access to the damn things because they don't want the shit end up in court, let alone on the front page of the news.
I've never been. It's never ceased to amaze me the lack of intercooperation. Where it's like, are you?
Oh.
Did you realize that, like?
Yeah, everybody else. There's a team in DC building the exploits for people. Maybe go ask them rather than. I mean, don't get me wrong. Go ask the Israelis. It's kind of fun. It's fun to see them do it. Like, oh yeah, we just sold one to those guys the other week. You don't want to go ask them?
Mm-hmm.
Right. How do you say that? Did you talk to the founder of Komodo?
Apparently, he's the
Mele Abdul Hayyo.
I don't want to bastardize his name because I actually don't want to insult him. But I also hang on. Yeah.
How do you say his name?
I don't know.
He's from Turkey. Mele Abdul Hayaglu.
Yeah.
Oh, that's probably close. I don't. No disrespect.
CEO of MaveCap. So he's the CEO of MaveCap, and he's the founder and chairman of Komodo.
Okay. So that's the guy that's pissed off at you?
Yeah, and it went from business to personal not pretty quickly. It took him 24 hours to actually insult me personally a couple of times. So kudos for him actually taking 24 hours to get there. But yeah, apparently it's now gone personal. Bless his little cotton socks.
Interesting. So let me ask you this. So let's start kind of at the beginning. Why did you get in this industry?
Me?
Yeah.
Honestly, I fell into it. Let's start with the easy one. I fell into it.
Mm-hmm.
I fell into it. I mean, I tried it. I tried a bunch of things. The first job I had was a short shift. It was a third shift, basically short chef. So
Really?
I cooked at a dairy. I did night shift at a dairy. I was at school, and then I did night shift at the dairy and basically cooked lunch for the guys at the dairy. So I did that for quite a while. Then ended up leaving school because from a household standpoint, we needed more money. So I ended up working in a company called Stebo Data Graphics. And they, those electronics catalogs that we all used to love and hate?
Mm-hmm.
We built those. We built all the templates. So I ended up getting into the coding side of things then. Prior to that, I'd already been fucking around with computers because I didn't like losing at computer games.
Right.
So it was that. And then I'm like, okay, well, what else is there in life? So I worked for a while in one of the research labs in the UK, just doing general admin stuff. I tried my hand at finance. That wasn't fun. I tried all sorts of different things. I sold vacuum cleaners for a while just to bring money in. I sold Kirby's.
Hey, go Kirby!
Door to door. I mean, that was, talk about rough. I mean, but sold a bunch. And so I tried a bunch of different things and then went back into this industry and then obviously went and joined the military for a while. But I started off first line help desk, screwdriver one hand, floppy disk in the other hand, basically. And from there, it was just that continual curiosity. It's a curiosity. It's like, what makes things tick? What's doing this? And, oh, okay, hang on. I can actually do something I enjoy and I get a paycheck for it. I like this idea. There was no like making millions because the security was a thing, but not really a thing.
Right. That's cool.
But it was interesting. It was interesting. I enjoyed it. I was good at it. And it felt right. And actually, it was kind of weird as well because, we all talked the same language. Everybody in the help desk and support all talked the same language. And back then it was camaraderie. I mean, I remember getting dragged by one of the network team who was like, hey, you want to learn how to do fiber optics? I'm like, yes, we had these fucking fiber optic switches. I spent like a couple of weeks working with those guys, just learning how to do fiber optics shit. And then obviously that led me into the Cisco side of the world and all that shit. So, that was, what am I feeling, 30 plus years ago.
That's cool, man. I love people's stories, but it's interesting how many of us got into this industry not on purpose, right? We didn't come into going, I want to be a security person because this is my why. This is my purpose. A lot of us find ourselves here like, holy shit, how the hell did I get here?
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah. How about you, Ryan? Why did you get into this?
So always been a tinkerer, right? Always, you know, I was the kid, took the phone apart, took the radio apart, did all that stuff. You know, I was working at a print company, and I wasn't always a good child. Let's just put it that way. So I'm working
You're
at
a
this
trouble
print
child.
company. Huh?
You're a trouble child.
I may have been a troublemaker.
I saw the news article.
So I'm working at this print company, and we print pre-approval credit card junk mail. And I would get these thumb drives with names and addresses and demographic data and all this extra stuff in the Excel sheet. And my job was to highlight one column and copy paste it into the print software.
Right.
But I had the whole spreadsheet, all the survey data. Remember, this is like publisher clearinghouse.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep.
Type of deal. Right. And this particular print company produced 80 some odd % of the nation's junk mail.
Oh, it's your fucking fault.
Yeah.
Right.
Bastard.
So,
Okay.
You're
Okay.
the one that caused
Right?
global warming.
Yeah, no
So
shit.
I'm working as a print jockey on the third shift because that's the pay I needed to feed the fam. Right. I'm a young man. I need that hustle money. I never wanted to pursue IT as a career. For as much as I love playing with stuff, as much as I love taking it apart, making it work, figuring it out, I didn't want to do it as a career. I had this idea of geekdom that was incompatible with my personality. Like my preconceived notion, right? Because I had met a few geeks on my journey, and I'm like, yeah, I'm not into what you're into. Like we share the computer thing, but everything else is different. Like you want to do Dungeons and Dragons, and I want to do girls. So, right, different motivation.
Well, you got the looks, so hello.
Yeah. The rest of us, we're screwed. End of discussion.
Right?
Sorry.
Yeah.
Chris and I will put
This is
Dungeons
the part
and
I got
Dragons.
dealt, right? So,
Yes.
but I wanted to, you know, I was an adventurer and a traveler, and like I had all this other shit I wanted to do. And if I sat coding, you know, I could, you know, I do it, I'm decent at it. But if I was hardcore, like it didn't suit me. And so I kind of avoided IT. But then I'm sitting there with this database thing, and I'm like, oh my God, what I could do with this information. Like it just dawned on me, like that little, you know, criminal voice is like, dude, you own a thumb drive. USB ports work the way they work.
Yeah.
There's zero to stop you from right click and copy paste this, you know? And that's kind of when it kind of whet my appetite. And then I have a very close friend of mine who is in the business and was in the business and has been in the business long.
Business?
Well, yeah, security, right?
All right.
Long before it was sexy, and he would always tell me, like, you know, this is the thing. Like, you don't understand what's coming. And I like to think about stuff a certain way. And eventually one day it dawned on me that this was the future. This is the future. This is probably the most important part of our next evolution, our next revolution, whatever this is that we're going through right now. If we don't get this shit right, it's bad. It's going to be bad. It's going to be really, really bad. And the father in me and the human in me was like, you have to do something, anything. And part of me was like, hey, also, if you're in the biz, you're going to see it coming like just slightly ahead of the curve. You're going to see, you're going to see the fastball when everybody else is standing around like, what's going on?
So you're already in the truck, stocked up.
Right, exactly. So I'm not going to lie that that's part of it. Is kind of having that early access view, if you will, to like, ooh, that's bad. I know how that plays out. So yeah, I don't know. That's kind of my why. And it's people. I like people.
It's not your why now, but it was maybe your
No,
why then.
But it was my why, yeah.
I know what your why is now. You know, I live it with you, and we're in perfect alignment with it, which is what makes it awesome. You know, and that's what makes, you know, when we spend you know a few hours together, we get a ton of shit done because we're not spending time like, what the fuck do you mean by that? And what are you trying to do? That's not at all what I'm trying to do. You know what I mean? When you're in alignment, it's like a symphony, right? Everything's in tune, you know, and you end up making some pretty good music. That's like romantic and everything. So I'm not hitting on you. I got a wife and, you know, we're cool.
I know how this goes. Don't worry. I know I'm pretty.
it's your cost to bear, man.
I am so kidding.
Out of the three of us,
My wife actually commented as I left the house because I cleaned up to go in, on the office and beyond tonight, right? So I cleaned up a little bit, and as I'm leaving the house, she's like, "You tell Evan I'm jealous."
oh, you clean up for Evan, but not for her. Oh, you're in the dog. Yeah.
Working at home, it's COVID. I blame COVID. It's far too easy. It's far too easy.
I haven't cleaned up at all. When I got into this industry, I kind of, stumbled into it too. My parents, my father was in MIS in the Marine Corps in the 60s, 50s and 60s,
yeah.
When they would build their circuit cards with like a wrench.
Yeah.
And so, I was always around it. My mother worked for IBM, before women really worked at IBM, she was early on. And, but I was always a rebel because I didn't want to do their shit. I went off and did my own thing. So I dropped out of school, sophomore year, maybe, passed my Series 7 in 63 and became a stockbroker because I wanted to make money. Right. So I made 100.
Shit.
Yeah. So I made 100 cold calls a day, working straight commission.
Oh, yeah.
Didn't make a dime. Because who's going to give a 19-year-old their money? I mean, I'm selling 2 penny stocks. I'm selling Apogee Robotics, which is a robotics company in Colorado. I don't even know if they still exist. There was a penny stock, and the other one was called CE Software that made software for Macintosh computers.
Oh, no shit.
Back then. Yeah.
Yeah.
So that didn't work out. Then I was a bartender, which was good because I was, I'm an alcoholic. So I was like, hell yeah, it's the best job ever. Probably not legal, but whatever. What else did I do? I was a bill collector, mortgage broker, warehouse worker, furniture installer, and then a warehouse manager. And I was working in the warehouse, and I was getting 10 hours of overtime a week, right? Which was really significant. It was a significant
that's a ton.
Income. And then they said, we're going to cut we're cutting all overtime. And I'm like, well, then I'm leaving. Well, they were just computerizing things at this warehouse, right? First ever computers. And the CIO, I guess at the time, said, hey, you got a real knack for computers. And I'm like, well, I grew up with them. So, that I could give 2 shits, So I really want to keep your institutional knowledge here. Will you come work for us? And I'll give you the same pay that you were getting paid with your overtime. I was like, all right, I'll do that. And then I got fired from that job because I fell asleep because I was a partier back then. And I was still doing really stupid stuff. The president of the company walked by while I was trying to configure a SCSI controller. Yeah. I couldn't get my dip switches correct. I couldn't find any documentation. So, it takes forever. And then waiting for things to boot up back then took forever. But then my first, just stole a lot of stuff, I guess, back then. But, it wasn't like when we were doing things back then, we didn't think of it as being illegal. It was fun. It was kind of thrilling, right? It was thrilling to, steal, Windows 95 off of Microsoft's bulletin board server. That was cool because I was the first kid that anybody knew that had Windows 95 on their computer.
Yeah.
My all-time favorite was Ford had made a test drive app, if you will, right? It was a piss poor attempt at a driving video game. And you could drive the boxy version of the Boxy's 80s Ford. And I got my hands on this thing. And it was, it was one of those dealership only, and you had the bulletin board, and island, right, figuring things out.
Oh,
and,
yeah.
That was because that was like, I knew that nobody had that. I'm like, I'm the only kid like ever to have, like, I got this, like, at home. I can play it whenever I want. It was, and the same thing with Napster. I mean, when Napster hit, when it really started to become an organized means of like, I can just search for what I want. Oh my God, this is the coolest thing ever.
Oh yeah. Well, I was working at Jazz Software.
All over again.
I was working at Jazz Software in those mid 90s to late 90s. We made Paint Shop Pro. And so back then it was either you bought Paint Shop Pro or you bought Adobe if you wanted any graphics.
Yep.
And Adobe was like ass expensive, right? So we had a really huge following. We were, consistently one of the top 10 most visited websites in the world at the time. And we would put download servers all throughout the country, right? It wasn't like it is now where you could just, you'd have to call an ISP, ship a server out there, but we would purposely not put firewalls in front of them or really secure them all that much because we wanted people to put their wares on it. I wanted you to put your MP3s. I wanted you to put your movies on these servers, even though people are downloading our software on it.
Yep.
So yeah, it was fun.
Oh no, the Stevo job, the typesetting job. I walked into my boss's office one day, and I'd been there 6 months, 9 months, whatever it was. And I walked in there one day, and I asked, why am I getting paid the least amount of everybody here? Because I ended up basically doing the training. I figured out how this thing worked and started to do little macros and shit, and then train people on it. And I'm like, why am I the one that's being paid the least? And he's like, what do you mean? I'm like, well, I went into the HR database, as you did, and I handed him the bit of paper I'd printed off with everybody's pay on it. And that was just not the smartest thing to do on the planet.
No.
But,
by the way, you're getting paid too much.
Yeah. I didn't remember what the hell he was getting paid, but I mean, I think at the time, it was like £3.45 an hour or something like that. So $5 an hour, whatever it was.
That's crazy.
And I was. I'm at home trying to help out with the house. So I'm on a bus, like 2 or 3 buses to get to the job. People are out there with cars. At the time it was like the cool car at the time was like a Ford Escort XR3i or the RSs or something like that. Steve and I were rally driving, so any spare cash I had went to put the freaking rally drive car back together because we crash it on a regular basis.
Oh yeah, I wish I could rally sport. That's awesome.
Yeah. I would end up racing for Pro Drive for a while, so that was fun. Yeah.
Damn.
Yeah, I was pretty serious into that.
I race motorcycles, but on the streets. And so
might have done it with cars once or twice.
I crashed so many crotch rockets that they wouldn't insure me anymore, and so I couldn't.
Oh, shit.
Yeah, I got totaled like 6 or 7 bikes back then, and so went a number of years not riding, and then and now I'm not riding like that anymore. But the fucking deer keep jumping out.
Yeah. I was lucky on motorbikes. I only went down like 3 or 4 times. One of them was on a roundabout, stupid idea, soggy wet roundabout, going around being an idiot, trying to speed up and like arm and elbow down. Bike went one way, I ended up in a hedge. One time was in Wales. Bike went one way, I went through the hedge. Was on
I
a
ran
race.
into the back of a box truck because I was looking at girls. I was showing off and I was, hey, and boom.
Oh shit.
I ran into the back of a school bus with kids in it.
Oh.
Just stupid, man. I don't know.
It is amazing how we're still alive. I will have to say, given all the stupid shit outside of the military, we'll ignore all the stupid shit in the military. Outside of the military, I am so amazed sometimes that I'm still here.
I know.
Got on one Harley one time. I dumped it on myself in about the first 30 seconds.
Oh no.
And, I weighed at the time, I think I weighed like 130, 140 pounds.
You don't weigh much beyond that now.
I'm getting a bit of a tummy on me.
All right.
It's starting to happen. I'm joining them.
Oh, God.
Yeah, and it was my buddies. And of course, I'm like, here's the wallet. I'm so sorry. just whatever it takes to. And he was cool about it, but I'm like, yeah, no, because I got caught up, and I wasn't going fast enough, and I was trying to turn.
Yeah.
And the turn was a little too sharp, and the speed was a little too low, and
Yeah. Yeah.
that was the end of that.
One time I was, it wasn't actually that long ago, and I've ridden a lot, right? So, sometimes stupid mistakes, and I was taking a left turn, and I was slowing, and I was waiting for another car to come, and so I downshifted what I thought was into second, and actually missed second. It was in neutral. So, you let your clutch out to give it gas, and by the time you realize that I'm not actually in gear,
Yeah.
and I didn't look down at my dash because I was looking at cars, so I didn't see an N on my on my indicator, and so I go to give it gas, and there's nothing there. It's like, boom. It's embarrassing as hell, but whatever.
I did that on a scooter in Austin. So long story, but point being, was riding the scooter, saw something, got distracted for a second, looked over. I was on one of those e-scooters, looked over as I was slowing down, didn't realize how much I had slowed down, and down I went into the bush.
I love watching those YouTube videos of the people. The most classic is the ones that can't let go of the throttle.
Oh yes.
Yeah. Oh yeah. No good. Yeah. No bad. I can throw the thing away. I buy bike.
Yeah. All right. So, man, I can talk to you guys about this shit all day long. But so the why. Now that was our why when we started. Maybe we didn't think about it. Maybe there wasn't one. But now, Chris, I know we've had conversations, and I know a little bit more about what your why is. You've said to me on numerous occasions that you want to make a difference.
Yeah. That's the big one. I think that's the financial stuff irrespective. It will get sorted out one way, shape, form, or another. It's either going to get sorted out, or I'm just taking it to my grave, one way or the other. I mean, let's be perfectly honest. That aside, I mean, it does come down to, we've had the discussions here and the frustrations. It's like, okay, how can we take all the knowledge that we have? How can we take all of our experience, our collective bumps, bruises, scrapes, and bashes, number one, and not let other people go through them? But number two, how do we help people, almost leapfrog from the, hey, this is a really cool device, to, hey, I actually have to respect this device without going through that pain and suffering. And it is trying to figure out, okay, how do we do that? And it isn't a tech problem. Part of it's a tech problem, but it isn't a tech thing. It's a human thing. It's everything. It's bits of everything. And I want that magic formula. And I'm like, okay, how the hell can I help get to that magic formula? Or we get to the point where, this computer takes over and we build something that does it for us. A little bit sci-fi-ish and a little bit Terminator or Lawnmower Man, depending upon your outlook.
Well, so, talk to Gabriel,
protect,
right? It's the consumerization of it, right?
Yeah.
So as we talked to Gabriel, I had, a lot of what he said resonated very strongly, right? And I'm like, it is that consumerization piece. How do we consumerize in life skill, right? That's why I take the life skill approach, because for me that, because this isn't something I need you to necessarily buy. It's something I need you to understand, something that you need to incorporate into your daily actions. I recently wrote a response to a reporter request where I basically said that companies that have active employee participation, who have a why, by the way, right? Employees who have a why, right? That company's risk profile is the lowest out of any company.
Yep.
100%. I'm not saying they're bulletproof, but they're damn bullet resistant.
Yes.
Because the employees are active. They're active. They're on the lookout. They're going, you know what? I know that today I'm going to do 85% work, 5% slacking off, and the remainder is going to be spent fending off scam email and scam phone calls to my cell phone. We're getting hit on all fronts.
Oh yeah, totally.
If you haven't gotten the IRS call about the magistrate and the judge and the YMCA and the this and the that,
Did you want me to stop making those calls?
I mean, I appreciate when you call his Visa, MasterCard, Discover, and Diners Club.
You
I
like
think
my robot voice?
It's the best. It's the best, right? So you know what I mean? Like it's getting to that integrated. So
Yeah.
to that point, people need a personal why.
What's your why? That was the next question.
For what? Doing the job or
why do you get up? Why do you work the crazy that you work? Why do you, why did you answer that reporter request? And why do you, pour your heart and soul into whatever that is you're doing, your job? Why do you do this?
Well, it's multifaceted, but ultimately it comes down to good dad, loyal follower, and I want to contribute. I want to give something back into the world. I've had a beautiful life. Like my life has been amazing. By no means has it been privileged. By no means has it been blessed. More so than the whatever privilege comes with whatever, right? But I had to fight tooth and nail to get all my shit. So for whatever that's worth, right? And I've seen some scummy stuff, and I've done some scummy stuff, and I've been a shit person, and I've been a decent person. Ultimately, it comes down to this is how I want to invest my hours of life. I have this precious commodity of time. It's the one thing I can't produce. I can't manufacture. I get what I get, and I don't even know how much I have. Right? It's precious in the world, and I have no idea how much I have.
Yeah.
Tonight could be my night, right? We watched Evan drop a kidney stones. Who the hell knows if he was coming back or not? So
I only got one kidney left too. The other one was taken by cancer. It's like, what the hell?
It is deer magnet, like we never know when Evan's gonna go.
Exactly.
Right? So
Ryan's like, he's out for a drive. I'm like, oh shit.
Hey, rode a bike and he's late. I don't know what happened. But the why truly is rooted in I want to give back. I'm in a position to give back. And I think everybody, no matter your situation or condition, is in a position to give back, but that's another show for another day. But I really believe that, that's my purpose. That's what I want to spend whatever hours I have left in this world doing, is helping elderly people, kids, and everybody else in between on the spectrum be ready to be living in this new world that you're entering at 1,000 miles an hour without a single clue that you're running straight towards a cliff edge. And you can build a bridge, but first you need to know there's a cliff, and you need to know how to build that bridge. And so that's my why. That's where the fire and the passion and the desire to do this and then do all the things that I do and invest what I do is ultimately to contribute and make, whatever I can do to be better. I'll say it this way. If you want a better world, you need better people. So I'm trying to be better people.
All right. Cool. I like it.
You, Evan?
Well, my why is it took a while to figure it out. So, walking through this industry, but I kind of remember when it happened. It was, I worked at big companies. I worked at Wells Fargo, US Bank, UHG. The last real job I had, I actually really loved. It was a pharmaceutical company. About a $4 billion pharmaceutical company that was acquired by a Japanese company. And so I was kind of faced with like, all right, what do I want to do? Well, I hate politics. I hate bullshit. I hate people taking advantage of other people. I hate not doing things right. And some of that comes from my military upbringing. My father was, 20 years in the Marine Corps, and I'm an only child. So it was drilled into you that if you're going to do shit, do it right. Don't waste people's time. Don't waste your time. So, we started FR Secure with this thing that we're going to do this shit right. We're not going to take shortcuts. We're not going to sell people shit that they don't need. And that kind of all evolved into, well, fuck. Our purpose is to fix the broken industry. The things that are broken in this industry, let's commit ourselves to fixing them. We may not succeed, but we'll die trying. That means we won't sell people. There's a thing at FR Secure that if you sell somebody something they don't need, I'll run you over with my truck. And I think people actually believe that. I don't know if I'd actually do it. What?
We have met you. What is this? I think people actually believe it. Let me clear the myth.
Right. But but that's what led to the mentor program, the CISSP mentor program. It started with 6 students. Last year we had 1,450 students. That's what's going to lead to us starting a nonprofit that I talked about last week, where we can really grow that more, right? If we have this talent shortage problem, let's get out there and let's do it. And
yeah, there's some amazing movement on that. Rachel and a bunch of the folks have kicked
Yeah.
off all sorts of conversations on LinkedIn and everywhere. It's freaking awesome to see that.
Right, absolutely. The fact that, when I talk about security, when I say information security, I'm thinking one thing and you're thinking something different. The fact that we don't even know what the fuck information security is. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Well, and that's us. So good luck, Grandma.
Oh, yeah.
Right. Right. But it's got to start with us, right? It's got to start with me understanding me before I'm going to start preaching to somebody else. But then it comes down to, all this stuff comes down to people. When you boil it all down to this whole purpose, for me, it's about people.
So let me ask this question. Why, right? So we're asking why. So we do what we do because of the reasons that we do it. So what is the why for the average person, right?
Well, and even before that, the reason why we work well together, the reason why I work well with you, and the reason why I just adore the shit that Chris does and work well with him is because our whys are in alignment. You heard the common theme. Chris wants to make a difference. You want to make a difference. I want to make a difference. And it's all for good, and it's all for people, and it's all for this, right? So that's why we're not adversaries. That's why we're allies. Now, if you look at the rest of the industry, if you look at Komodo, or you look at, some jackass trying to sell me some shit, what's his why? To sell me some shit.
Well, okay.
Take advantage of me, or whatever.
So So what is a sales guy's why? Sales guy's why is commission.
Well, some sales guys. I don't want to say all of them, but yeah.
No, I'm being too generalized. But that's the problem too, is the motivating factor behind a lot of the decisions aren't rooted in an understanding of what we're doing. It's rooted in balance sheets. It's rooted in P&L.
On LinkedIn. Let me bring it up so I at least put context to it and I don't get yelled at by
I'm gonna stop my video real quick, but I'm gonna still be here.
Yeah, totally. You're gonna go mobile? Or no, he's going to the bathroom.
Yeah, I gotta get something. I gotta get something to drink, but I don't drink like you guys drink.
Yeah, so. I mean, so the whole thing. I mean, that's what started this shit on this one. It's like, the Komodo guys, like, hey, we believe we're the next wave of endpoint, and more importantly, cybersecurity. I'm like, all right, well, let's figure that one out. Like Web 2.0 or Web 4.0, whatever.
Right.
Different approach, yada yada yada. CrowdStrike is a $22.5 billion company, and we're ready to take them on. And so, it's, I think my frustration there is the approach. It's not that collaborative. Let's have a conversation. How can we do something better?
Right. No, it's very adversarial.
Oh my God, it's not just adversarial. It's simply, I want what you have. I want your 22 billion. I want all of your customers. I want everything that you have. I want, I want what you have. It isn't, this is what, I mean, the pie is fucking huge. There's enough in there for all of us to eat and put food on the table and have a couple of nice cars in the garage and give a chunk back to charity. There's
and
enough
have some left over that still needs serving.
Right. and so
you're exactly right, Chris. Like, only, what would you say, a percentage of companies that are actually doing this shit right? Would you put in the single digits in terms of percentage? So
in our industry, people in our industry that are doing it right?
No, just companies in general, people that we serve,
Oh. Yeah, it's not out of single digits. I mean, I think it's at the lower end of single digits.
What definition of right? Hold on. What definition of right? I think 30% are trying. Is that good enough? It should be for right now, because trying is not.
Do you
It's
really
always-
think it's 30% of trying? Honestly,
Trying, like actively trying and spending some money. And I'm not saying they're not misguided. I'm not saying they're not suffering from blinky light syndrome, but actually giving a shit to give a shit. Yeah, I'd say about 30% give some level of shit. It might be compliance driven.
But the point I'm trying to
Okay.
make is look at how big of, to your point, Chris, how much of that pie is available rather than fighting over the 10% or the 20%. Why the hell aren't we going out and reaching the other 80% who aren't doing shit? I mean, there's so much opportunity.
$8 million contract for nonsense.
Right. Because, and again, so many of them, are focused elsewhere. And, I think this is always the interesting thing about security is this is the royal we, this isn't this group here. We, the royal we, come to the table thinking we're the biggest thing out there that has to be concerned and people have to be worried about. Well, obviously at the moment, it sure as hell isn't. So many companies are purely just fighting for survival. So finance and balance sheets and humans and assets and
Clorox wipes. Clorox wipes wiped out your security budget. That's where it went. If you want to know where your security budget went, it's Clorox wipes, hand sanitizers, and digital thermometers.
And toilet paper.
And toilet paper.
Yeah. And I think that's, first and foremost, we have to come to the table and realize we're not the only one at the table. And I think a lot of us here already realize that, but a lot of companies out there don't. So many of the companies in our industry want to go and tell the CEO that the one thing that they have to think about is security. Well, maybe the CEO will think about that for 10 minutes in a week. And yes, on some of the leadership, it's definitely high on the priority list, but so surviving, and so is their personal, and so there's a balance, and we're not good at the balance game. Let's start with the easy one.
Well, right, and a business is in business to make money, right?
Yeah.
And so, one of the things that we've tried, and we're still continuing to try, obviously, is how can we use information security to make us more money? Because here's one thing, complexity. Bruce Schneier said it, and I love his wisdom. Complexity is the enemy of security. Well, great, because complexity is also the enemy of business, right? Inefficiency bleeds money. So if we can make things more efficient, take a 10-step process and make it a 2-step process and make it more secure at the same time, and I'm oversimplifying, but the theories are we can make money by being more secure. We're not good at giving that message. But take other people in our industry. So we've kind of covered our whys. I think our whys are pretty much in alignment, and I think they're noble whys. That's why I'm attracted to working with you guys, is because of that. But take Kevin Mitnick. His name came up last week. What's his why?
His name came up today.
Oh shit! Okay. Can I squirrel moment for a second?
Yeah.
Go.
Yes. I'm very fortunate. About every year or every other year, I go hang out with the folks over at Purdue, and I get to go do like guest lecturing and had fun. I actually did one, I think it was earlier this week. What are we on today? Yeah, it was earlier this week. It was Tuesday.
Thursday.
It was Tuesday. Yeah, it was Tuesday. Did a guest lecture over at Purdue. Had a freaking ton of fun, like a shit ton load of fun. Ton of students, whole bunch of folks, and a bunch of really cool people putting it on.
I drove past Purdue twice this last week.
Anyway, we got talking about quantum stuff and everything else. I'm actually going to be going back there in a month or two's time, giving a lecture on quantum mechanics. I'm going to have a shit ton load of fun doing that. But I got talking to Tina and the other person that's over there setting it up, and brain's gone to sleep. I apologize on names for the minute. And they said they'd actually asked Kevin Mitnick to go do a guest lecture for Purdue. Now, the last time I remember him and his charging, it was about $25,000 every time he made an appearance. Apparently, I'm behind the times a little bit. Mr. Mitnick is now around about $50,000 per appearance. Yeah. So needless to say, Purdue said thanks, but no thanks, and then took the phone call. Chris, can you come hang out and
Talk about wasting money.
I'm like, Holy shit. Anyway, sorry, that was my squirrel moment. Yeah, we're talking about Kevin. Yeah, go for it. I'm sorry, Evan.
Yeah.
No. I love that story, man. But, and I just use him because everybody knows who he is. But what do you
Yeah.
think his why? Is his why to make a difference? Is his why in alignment with our why? Or is his why to be famous? He does call himself the most famous hacker.
Oh yeah, the #1 hacker in the world or something like that. I think it's whatever. Yeah, you're right. Actually, it's always on my, hey, you've connected with Chris, connect with Kevin kind of shit. Where is he?
Oh no, you have to do it. It's all part of the fun. If you're not connected to them, then
there we go. Yeah.
you can't influence them at a distance.
The world's most famous hacker.
Oh, yeah.
Not the best hacker.
But the world's most famous.
Yeah.
This is, so again, you take that mental attitude about the whys, and then so people also view this. I'm on LinkedIn. People also view Jack Daniels. I mean, Jack Daniel is another amazing human being. I got a ton of love for him. What does he call himself? Community builder and storyteller. I'm like, if that isn't another person cut from the same cloth as us, or similar cloth, I'm like, okay, there's your difference.
Right. And so, and we can all think of other people that we've encountered or other people that come to mind right now that clearly do not have the same why that we do. And I'm not talking the hacker, not the hackers, the bad guys, right? I'm talking about people in our industry that pose as good guys, don't have whys that are in alignment with ours.
Run into it all the time.
Right.
And not just in our industry. I run into clients that don't get good whys.
Well, I'm not even getting to the clients yet. I'm talking practitioners, because I think we have to cure our disease inside of our own clan.
Well, so here's the deal, right? Okay, so if we chop up our industry, let's just call it hacking and administration. To just simplify things, there's two sides of the house. There's a hacking side of the house, and there's an administration side of the house. Hacking encompasses blue, red, and purple. Administration encompasses everything else, right? Risk management, and blah, blah, blah.
What do you mean blah, blah, blah? You've got policy, you've got
administration, all administration, all overhead admin stuff, not hardcore, because that's really how our industry is split. I know phenomenal risk managers couldn't pop a shell to save their life.
No, right.
Like pop a shell in 30 seconds, couldn't navigate a conversation with a business leader if their life depended on it, right? Yeah. So I see it from both sides, and that's part of the barrier too, is that really very few people that I've met can cross the camps. You guys are two of them. It's a short list of people that are articulate and able to communicate thoughts and ideas outside of a technical realm and still get in and spit some good hardcore tech jargon and can pop a shell and can slap some code down in some Notepad++ and compiler of choice.
Yeah.
Okay. If you know Python's not just a snake, you're a step ahead of the game. So,
it is a snake too, though.
But bona fide practitioners who are damn good at their game. I know CISMs that are very talented, not able to do tech work. And I think that's part of the.
But I can work with somebody on either side of that is motivated by something similar to what I'm motivated by, meaning making a difference.
Agreed.
Meaning serving people, doing the right thing. What I can't work with is people that are in it for their ego, people that are in it for money at any expense, taking advantage of other people. Those are the shit that I can't deal with.
Well, and so back to my point about the two camps, I think that the ego and the fame and the accolade falls on the tech camp. We are a very accolade-driven industry. I found the bug. I got the bug bounty. I'm the best. I'm the greatest, right? Everybody thinks they're the Ali of hacking, right? I'm the greatest, right? And then on the admin side, that's just corporate America bullshit bureaucracy. That's ladder climbing and all the political positioning and posturing, right? That's how I see that game getting played a lot of times. Now, obviously, I'm being very broad in my statements. I'm not saying this applies to everyone equally. But as a rule of thumb, in my experience, that's how I've seen kind of the two camps develop. And because we're not even a unified camp, how do we, sway the business? How do we integrate? To your point, Evan, that you've made many times, we are in all buckets. So if I'm in every single bucket, why am I not in every single meeting? If the BI team wants to do something new with Tableau that involves exposing a publicly accessible, report, why aren't we at the table for that? Right. And that's the other why. Like, we need to ask ourselves, why aren't we at the table more often?
So back to your first point, which is, we're not even all on the same song sheet. Perfect example. So Gabrielle and I were talking earlier on this evening. He wants to do another video, and talking about iPhones and apps going on them and how the app's taking all the data and all this kind of good stuff, no matter what app it is. So we started talking about the use of words, and is it, if an app is on the phone and it's taking data off the phone, is it hacking the phone? Is it attacking the phone? What is the word? So I chucked it out on on Twitter. I checked it out on Twitter 5 hours ago, okay? And I said, look, if I break into your phone, if I take your pictures and your contacts and your notes, etc., am I attacking, hacking, or targeting you? I'm looking for the right way to phrase it, because this again is for Gabrielle's audience.
Yep.
So I put hacking, I put attacking, hacking, breaching, and I put other with notes below. And 30% attacking, 33% hacking, 25% breaching, and a shit ton load of actually really awesome comments below. And I think the best one I've got is stealing so far. But I mean, it's amazing. Yeah, even amongst ourselves, and this is 277 votes so far in 5 hours, and amongst ourselves, we don't even know what the hell to call it.
Right.
And it's like, yeah, I mean, if somebody's breaking into my house, it's easy. They are, they're a burglar, and they're breaking and entering, and they're stealing from me. We don't know how to call the electron, and let alone we talk about fucking pen testing, and God only knows that's a holy war into itself, what the hell that defines as.
So why can't we get on the same page?
There's no good reason. I think because we've all grown up thinking different things.
Okay.
And I think honestly, I think part of it is we all haven't come together going, well, I mean, that's why we're doing the Wisenary. That's why we're doing the damn compendium and dictionary inside the Wiser team, is to try and bring some level of not just English to the whole thing, but some level of understanding. I don't think there's any reason why we can't. I don't think there's a camp that says it has to be hacking or it has to be attacking. Well, but I don't think there's been a unifying force.
Well, I agree, and I sort of disagree too, because there's a hell of a lot of ego in our industry. And the thing that, Johnny says that it's this, and Jim says it's that. Well, a lot of times you'll sit at the table and you'll argue all day and you won't come to an agreement. We had that same kind of experience, Ryan, with you and I, just in our definition of information security. We got real, like, what is our definition of information security? I had mine, you had yours. Mm-hmm. We had to whiteboard it, and we had to sit there and each give up certain things that we believed to come to a common agreement on what our definition was going to be.
We did, and actually that was a great afternoon. It was phenomenal to work through that, because I walked away from that with a different understanding of the understanding that I had when I walked in, not necessarily your understanding. So by hearing your viewpoint, I had to weigh that into how I understood it. And so the way I made sense of it and the understanding that I had as I walked away from it, like, that was a great compromise, because the beautiful part was we were both right and we were both wrong, in the sense of the goal was to achieve the most simplistic explanation.
Well,
neither of us are simple. Neither of us are.
Speak for yourself on being wrong. I mean, we were both right. That's true.
Well, I always feel like there's two sides to a coin, and I will, to that point, yeah, well,
But I think
it's two sides to a coin, bro. Two sides to a coin.
No, there's not. Remember, theoretical mathematician. There's two sides. There's an edge. There's a probability of the coin disappears, and all sorts of other criteria I can come up with.
All right, fair enough. I'll get you in your damn discrete mathematics. In the event of X, but only if Y is true when Z is not present.
And at that point, we'll call it an attacker. Every other time, we can call it.
Yeah, but no, it's like the point I was making was that was good. I enjoyed it. So we have to do that with Chris, by the way.
Well, yeah, but I agree. And I think the reason why we were like that is because we had this alignment in our purpose, in our why. I mean, I think it was deeper than just two guys who are like, hey, I respect you enough that I'm going to listen and whatever, compromise. It's because when I go to conferences and I see people doing the shit that they do, like take RSA, for instance, the last one that we were at together, there were very, I think I was in the minority in terms of having this why of actually helping people, not trying to take advantage of you, not trying to take your money just for the sake of taking your money. I actually want to help people. I want to understand what the fuck the problem is, and I want to do something about it. And that means you give up.
It is the minority. That's the problem. That is the minority.
Right.
Because that's not I'm going to maximize every red cent I can get out of something. Like it's just not. The industry is too cash focused, and the motivation for people to give the money in the first place is cash focused.
So here's the other challenge, and I'm just thinking about it. We talk about RSA. So perfect example of RSA. In all of those halls, how many people who are at the booth are technical, and how many are marketing people?
So there was the security studio booth, and then everybody else, and you.
Yeah.
And you were roaming around. I couldn't find you to save my life. By the way, the next conference we're at together, damn it, man.
I was roaming. I was wandering. I was trying
Dude, we were playing friggin' hide the man on Twitter. I'm like, where are you at now?
Oh my
and then because
God,
it was Twitter, you were delayed your response. You're like, I'm over here. I'm like, that was 3 hours ago.
Oh, that was a shit show. Let's face it. That was the conversation with my former employer going. The conversation was basically, I love you, but that was the conversation.
Well, and I think
after being approached by the RSA's conference people going, please don't wear the plague mask.
Right. I remember that.
Oh yeah, that was fun.
Well, we'll always have outliers in our industry in terms of getting in alignment with what we're actually trying to do. But I think we'll never get to their why. We'll never really truly solve their why, meaning the business people, the people who don't speak security, the people who don't do this for a job. We won't really resonate with them until we get our shit figured out.
Right. Well, it's because they come to each one of us. Again, we'll go back to the Komodo versus ClownStrike. We'll go back to that conversation.
I love how you call it.
I can't. It is what it is these days. It's weird. I'm going to call them that, but I'll actually defend them as well, because there are some people inside there who actually do give a damn. But that's the problem. To your point, the business is sitting there going, well, okay, why do I need to care? And, ClownStrike comes in and goes, you need to care because of all of this. And then Komodo comes in, or they walk to the Komodo booth, and Komodo goes, well, you need to be care because of all this, and ignore everybody else because we're fucking amazing and everybody else sucks balls.
And they're all running the same open source code.
And then they walk to, to be my former employer, they walk to a TiVo's booth, and the TiVo's booth, quite honestly, will go, well, all the rest of them are fucking useless because all the shit breaks, and the only reason we exist is because their shit sucks, and because everybody's going to be on the inside, and you got to put a minefield in place. And everybody's like, oh shit, we thought about that. And then you walk to Elusives, and Elusive is like, well, TiVo sucks balls, and therefore and everybody's waving their fucking dick around at RSA going, we're great, and everybody else sucks.
And you get a free Jeep right now. You can have a Jeep. That's right. You, sir, you right there. Listen, you want to hear my pitch? Did I show you I brought a magician? He does tricks with pool balls. Watch this shit.
Oh, Donnie, I was
watched-
so fucking hot under the collar over that shit.
I watched that for like a half an hour. I was like,
Oh, so
what the hell?
the one. Okay, no, the one that I almost walked up and fucking decked him. That was my. I have to leave now. Was they had the fishing line? They had.
Yes, they did.
Oh, I almost walked up and I had luckily I had a friend with me, and he's like, walk away now, because you can see the fists were like, I am going to hurt somebody.
Evan was about to get into it with the people running the cash tube. So they had the money grab tube, where they blow the cash around and you got to try to snatch it out of the air.
I didn't see that, thankfully.
And Evan's sitting there just melting down, like, this is everything wrong with our business. This is.
Can you imagine? Okay, go back to grandma. Grandma, this is our industry. We're doing our best to look after you, and you let
think it was
grandma
a circus. If I took
grandma
grandma
walk around RSA,
where the riots were.
What the fuck?
You guys know that. You take any non-security person at RSA, and the first thing they're gonna go is like, "Are there rides here?"
Yeah.
I feel like there's gonna be a concert soon. Like,
Right.
What have I walked into?
Where do I get my glow sticks?
I'm just saying. No, that's the after party we went to. It was phenomenal.
I get. So in defense, not in defense of RSA, we'll ignore that one, but in defense, DEF CON to me and B-sides are our places to go blow off steam. I want to go do Lost challenges and be abused for 3 days. It's actually fucking amazing to do those and badge out of them and all that shit. I want to go do the scavenger hunt because it's amazing. I want to go hang out with peers and friends at the villages. That's our time to go blow off steam and just fuck around and try not to get arrested too often or take help from. But that's fine. To me, I can accept that because we do have a shit ton load of stuff and it's a place to go to network, to hang out with friends and just blow some fucking steam off and just talk.
Mm-hmm.
But RSA, no, that is a circus.
One Black Hat has become that way too.
Mm-hmm.
I know.
That's why I like Burcon. Because Burcon is still, it's still deep in its roots. It's free.
Burcon and Burcon. Chris and the team that put that on are just amazing. I have so much love. It's gone digital this year because Eddie and I were going to be up on stage having a ton of shit. We're still contemplating it because several years ago he and I did the NASA Mars rover and got that to play Freddie Mercury Plays Queen, and we did that for one of the talks where we were meant to be keynoting this year, doing the opening one, and we were going to do something equally as crazy, but we're holding it. And I think if we manage to do it next year or whatever, we'll have some fun with that one.
Cool. That's cool, man. Whoops. This iPad is all over the damn place. Sorry.
That's all right. I figured you're getting attacked by the bats or something.
There are bats.
I love bats. We have them. We have one that lives at night when he comes and hangs out under the porch. So we were careful, leave the fans off and all that kind of stuff. But it's amazing just watching them, bounce around the trees.
Yeah, I cheer them on because I'm like, get those damn mosquitoes, man.
Yeah, good point.
Go for it. All right, so our why in alignment. We have issues within our industry with alignment of whys. And one of the things I like about you too, Chris, is how you call it out. You know what I mean? When you see shit like a misalignment of bullshit, you call it out, and that takes balls. You know what I mean? And you're a voice for many of us, and so I appreciate that.
It's tough because it's a double-edged sword. Perfect. I got hit up by one of my former crew today. And he was like, hey, would you mind changing one of the acronyms on one of your posts? Because it was the acronym that they particularly used to do something on their system. And I'm like, I'll do it because you're a friend and I respect you and all this stuff. Mm-hmm. But I know, I just pissed off, the guy from Komodo, and there's repercussions. There will be repercussions. I found out through the grapevine. One of the companies that I'm doing some work, was doing some work for, the investor, one of the people that now works for the investor, 10 years ago, I pissed them off. They still hold a grudge. Now, they held that grudge because I heard about it through the grapevine. Now, to their credit, I actually got hold of them and said, hey, I hear we have some stuff to talk about. I would love to open the conversation. To their credit, he responded. We actually had a really freaking good conversation. But if I hadn't heard about it, that would have still been biting me in the ass ad infinitum. And even on the Tinkerers group, you know, there are a few people on the Tinkerers group who I know I will rarely have a conversation with because for whatever reason I've called bullshit, and it limits. I mean,
but the people that are aligned with you, the people that are aligned with your why, with your purpose,
yeah,
are here not just to, you know, watch and be entertained, but we're also here to support you. We're also here, you know what I mean, to defend you. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? What it takes, because you have, and I've told you this many times before, you have a gift that I don't have. Right?
I know. I
I know.
got a muse over my shoulder. Whatever the muse is doing, I respect them thankfully and hugely and gracefully.
Well, but it's helping to fix the industry.
Yeah, hopefully it's helping to bring some light to it.
Mm-hmm.
Well, that's part of it. First, you got to see the problem to fix the problem.
Right.
Yeah, that's fair. That's fair. It's interesting though, and I think that's one of the things. I think I'm fortunate that, you know, I'm big enough and ugly enough that I can take enough lumps. But it does suck. I mean, I'll be honest, it sucks. You know, when I was leaving a TiVo, I sat down and I was like, okay, what are my options? You know, when I left a TiVo, I'm like, okay, what are my options? And I had a conversation with a couple of fairly large and fairly nice companies that have been kind of cool to work for. But two of them were like, we love you, but we're not going to touch you with a fucking 10-foot barge pole because, you know, 1 minute you're going to be saying something and the next minute we're going to have to do the apology tour. And I'm like, okay, it shouldn't have to be that way. You know, there should be a balance. Yeah, I mean, even with the TiVo was great, but I had to be careful, and I deleted a number of posts that you know, a couple of folks were like, you know, a little bit too close to the bone. And I get it, and I understand it, but it definitely closes a bunch of doors. But the flip side is it you know, that's part of the reason I went back out on my own, because it's a little safer, and I can get away with calling bullshit on billionaires at the end of the day, and I'll get repercussions, but you know, I should be able to suffer through them. Let's put it that way.
Well, and you know, we behave the same way that you talk. You know, we always have. You know, meaning.
You guys, I mean, that's why I love doing this with you guys, because you got, yeah, actions speak louder than words. End of fucking discussion. And to me, that's what I love about it. I don't have to hear it because I see it, and that's what I love.
Well, and you know, the doors that get closed, I don't give a shit. Those aren't people I want to work with anyway.
Yeah.
There are plenty of people out there who do want to do things the right way, who aren't offended by words, you know, that weren't meant to offend them or whatever, that I don't care. And one of the things we found out, you know, over time, because now we've been around for 12 years, is a lot of the people that we offended that wouldn't do business with us before end up coming back to do business with us because what we told them was true.
Right.
It took that long to figure out, like, oh shit, you know what FR Secure told us, you know, back in 2012. Yeah, that shit was right. And now I respect them.
I think it's tough though. And again, this is, you know, we've kind of touched on this a little bit. To me, it's a weird thing. So as a kid, I was put on a pedestal, and if I fell off the pedestal, I got smacked. End of discussion. And as an adult, I spent so many years trying to get back on that pedestal with my father and trying to not let anybody down or let somebody down. Then I come into this industry, and there are so many amazing people that, I'll be honest, I mean, when I left the Ativo, with the Ativo, I had the title and, you know, nice company, all that kind of good stuff, but it wasn't right for a variety of different reasons. And then I sit there and I'm like, I'm doing what I'm doing now, and, you know, all the other stuff I'm doing at the moment, but I feel like I'm not good enough. I feel like I should be, in my life, in my work, I should be working for, you know, B of A, or I should be working for, you know, Goldman Sachs or somebody like that as their CISO. And because I'm not there, I failed. And because I don't have that, because I'm not there, I failed. And as daft or as dumb as it sounds, there's a big part of me that still feels like I failed. I don't feel like I've got there, and I don't know how to change that, if that makes any sense.
Well, so when you get the
First
job,
of all, it's bullshit, because you're built for what you're built for.
That.
I know, right?
That
I
knows
got,
it. That
Evan, hold on. So, Chris, when you get the job at Goldman Sachs, a year in, when you fucking hate it, I want you to call me and tell me how it's so not aligned to who you are as a human, how it doesn't fit you and it doesn't match. I am looking forward with anticipation to that.
No, I know.
It's why there was an opportunity I had in my life where I was at a big enough organization and I scored high enough on the leadership, matrix, right?
Yeah.
How do we find the next CEO? Here on the graph.
Yeah.
The sacrifice wasn't worth the payoff. The life I was going to live to achieve the lofty, what the world said I should have, especially coming from where I came from. Like people like me do not get these opportunities, period.
Yeah. Yeah.
And it happened. And wasn't gonna be the life that was gonna be me.
Well, tomorrow.
You wouldn't be happy, dude. I know you well enough from the interactions we've had to know there's no fucking way you're happy.
I can't dispute that. I don't know what the definition, we talk about definitions. I don't know what the definition of success is. I mean, as crazy as that sounds, and that's where it's
pronounced happiness.
Yeah. I know. Yeah.
Well,
what makes you happy? If you're doing that, in my book, you're successful.
Yeah.
Well, and it goes back to your purpose. Your purpose is to make a difference. Are you making a difference? And
I think so.
I know so.
I don't know how you could dispute that you're not.
Welcome to how this. Yeah.
So I mean, if that's how I would gauge success, are you making a difference? I get because I do the same thing, man. I mean, I get up every morning because I grew up, really competitive. I was, believe it or not, 60 pounds ago, I was a state champion swimmer. I swam, on full scholarship at the University of Minnesota. I had an opportunity to swim at the Olympic trials, and then what comes after that, the Olympics.
Oh yeah, yeah.
But I quit. I burned out. I was like, fuck this. I hate this. This is not happiness. This is not success for me. But, now I get up every morning and I want to make a difference in something, right? Sometimes I wrote something stupid or whatever, but it made a difference in somebody's life. Sometimes, I get an email from, I get a lot of emails now from students who have taken the CISSP mentor program, just saying how grateful they were. And, you read one of those and it's like, yeah, I made a difference. Even if it's just in one person's life, good enough, man. That's more than most people do. So
and that's such a motivating piece. Like I've taught this to my son. It's what I practice myself. Stretch, go, grab for it. And when you fall completely short and you bust your face, you still made it further than most.
Yeah.
And that in and of itself is an accomplishment. That in and of itself, I have failed at things in spectacular ways, newsworthy ways. I have failed.
Oh yeah.
And I gained more out of that failure. My dad used to have a thing where if you did something 3 times and you still sucked at it, it probably wasn't for you, but you never give up the first time you fail.
Yeah.
You pick it up, you try again. Now, if you're on number 3 and there's 0 improvement, you suck as bad or worse.
Yeah, then there's probably a time to
probably not a good fit.
Think.
It might be something you want to spend a lot of time on.
But going back to your why, man, going back to my purpose, like I swear I've failed. If I followed your dad's advice, I wouldn't be here. I'd be doing something totally different. Because even in this business, I haven't had businesses fail, or anything like that. But trying to solve some of these fucking problems, like how do you get through to the normal people? How do you, to me, you try this message. Well, that didn't resonate. You try this message. Well, that didn't resonate. Try this application that you wrote. Well, that didn't work. It's like, fuck. I mean, I've failed 100,000 times, it seems like, but I'm not going to stop.
Yeah.
It's my purpose.
I think it's, you talk about the business stuff. I mean, I've had a couple do well, and I've had a couple, that I've definitely had to learn from. No two ways about it. But it's, it's a tough one.
Well, and at the end of the day, that's what I fall back on. when I ask myself, when I get up, like this morning, I got up at 3:30 this morning, and you were still up, so it was like a shift change for us. You're coming off the night shift. I'm going on to the day shift. And Ryan, you're all over the place.
I am quite random in my schedule. Yes.
I've never had the same sleep schedule. Believe it or not, I've never ever gotten up the same time 2 mornings in a row.
So are you? So I mean, the only time I was a morning person was military, and shortly thereafter, but not for long. I've always been a fairly night owl. The earliest, I mean, I went to bed the other evening because I was kind of wiped out at like 11:30 at night. I'm up at 2:30, 3:30. I actually finally got up at 6 a.m. and I'm like, screw it. And I still went through till 3:30 the following morning. I can't. I'm a night owl. I mean, even after we're done here, typically I'll go do stuff. I'll go hang out. I want to get stuff on LinkedIn. I've got to do stuff for various folks or whatever. But
I'll be up till 3:45 tonight.
Okay, so you are the same.
So average bedtime for me is anywhere. The earliest I'm racking out. I mean, like, don't get me wrong. If I've had like a super physical labor day,
mm-hmm.
I've got a bunch of physical work, I'm blacksmithing and shit. Oh, about midnight, I'll pass out on the couch. If I've been blacksmithing, if I've been really working my body, but if I haven't done any physical labor, especially Thursday nights after talking to you guys, I'm gonna sit on the couch for 2.5, 3 hours from now, just processing our conversation, unpacking it. What did I learn? What did I take away? How do I want to relook at this idea that I had, and is it shaped differently now because I have new information, right? One of those things I wish, just a skill I wish every human had. Oh, I have new information. I should reevaluate the problem.
Tell me about it. Yeah.
And Thursday nights are nights that I stay up late too. I mean, I'll be up till 3-ish probably. But I just never get up the same time. This morning I got up at 3:30. Monday night I don't think I went to bed either. Tuesday night, there was another night this week I just didn't go to bed.
I actually have it. It's on my calendar that at 2:00 in the morning I have a notice on my calendar that says down keyboard.
Yeah.
Oh.
I try to stay to that, and sometimes I manage, and sometimes I absolutely don't, and I fail. But typically at that 2:00, I try to at least step away from the keyboard, or at least this keyboard. I'll grab the iPad and maybe watch a movie, do some other fun things. Sometimes I don't, sometimes I fail and just come straight back at it. But then to Ryan's point, I'll take another hour or two to like unwind, decompress, think about things until the brain's ready to say, hey, you're done at this point.
Yeah, it's cool how people have different approaches and boundaries. That's also a management thing that's worked really well for us. Is everybody's got different tolerance, right? When you set like the number of hours you expect somebody to work or whatever, right? Some people just are uncomfortable with anything beyond a 40-hour work week or even a 30 week. And some people are like me and you and probably Ryan, I probably work an 80-hour work week. That's just what I love to do.
I'm trying to get better at that. I got to talk. I've been getting some talking tos about that. So I've tried to get better. It's, believe it or not, guys, here's my technique for shutting down. Because my problem is I'm ADHD. So my brain will unpack this for tonight, tomorrow, the next day, the next month, next year. It will not stop if I don't stop it. So believe it or not, it's the sweet, soothing sounds of forensic files and 48 hours. And it's all the crime shows. It's that narrator. Like I love watching the Locked Up Abroad, and then the American prison gang guy. He's like, and then the things, and they found her body, and it was shot.
Okay, I can't
make this up. It is the most like brain neutralizing, soothing. That Morgan Freeman. Anything Morgan Freeman.
Oh, Morgan Freeman. Yeah, but most television, including those shows, I can't. Again, not quite this crazy acronym, but not far off of it. I can't do them because I hate being treated like an idiot. I hate being spoon-fed. I don't need it repeated to me. I need the information once. I want it in a way I can.
Yeah, I don't hear it. I don't really hear it. It slows. It legit, guys. It's the weirdest thing. It kind of slows my brain enough where I can re-unpack the thoughts.
Oh, see, I watch Top Gear. For me, it's Top Gear. Top Gear does that for me.
Okay,
Just
yep.
the car
I
show,
love Top Gear. Dude,
and the Grand Tour. Those.
I'm looking forward to the new specials that they're going to put out because
There's one out. Have you seen the one out already? The Seaman
yes.
one.
Oh yes.
Yeah.
Oh yes.
Yeah, that's
I'm a huge fan, man. Have been for a long time.
So
I used to get that. Well, I used to get that off of Ragava. Remember Ragava?
Oh my God. Okay.
RARGB.
Yep.
Right. So
I got mine. I'll either pick it off of iTunes or I'll proxy into a server I have in the UK, and then use the BBC TV through my proxy server because I'm in the UK.
Well, I love having global Netflix. I've told so many people that I'm like, if you get a VPN service, you watch TV everywhere.
Oh, that's awesome.
I used to host one because I would travel internationally, and this was in the early days, and so you couldn't get Hulu or Netflix overseas.
Yeah,
it just didn't work, and so I ended up doing a VPN back here from the house, and I dial in, and then of course my overseas friends are like, "What is this magic?" So I ended up, giving out a couple of logins.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah, it's music. So it's interesting. I use my music for concentrating. I mean that's my way. I'll put my headset on and I'll rock out to certain things, different types of music for whatever I'm focusing on. But for me, or I pick up a book. I love reading.
Yeah. Depends on how much screen time I've had. I've got those eyes where after a certain amount of screen time, it doesn't matter what the power of the cheater is. I can't read the page.
Yeah. When I just get on the bike, you know what I mean? Just go somewhere. I'm so excited talking to my wife tonight about going to Sturgis and how great that's going to be because I won't be connected to anything. I can get away from the world, all the bullshit. I won't have to watch news, nothing. Just ride.
Yeah, I used to go for a drive at night when I was still married, and just quite honestly, trying to process what the hell was going on in the relationship. I used to go driving, used to take one of the cars out and just head up into the hills, and I'd drive for hours, and it was my way. There were a few things going on. It was my way of tempting fate, to be perfectly honest. That was a big part of it. I mean, there was some. One of the cars I had was very, very fast, especially around bends, and I would tempt fate. But at the same time, it was also my way of getting into that zone where I could almost semi-autonomously work with that side of it, and then try to process what the hell was going on. Nowadays, I tend not to do that much. I'll still go out for a drive every now and again and wander up into the hills, a lot more relaxed. But yeah, I'm kind of like Ryan.
My wife and I went today, because it's been a rough week. We've had a shit of shit this last couple of weeks, just things happening, and truly, when you run a company, it's and you've been there, man. It's there's a couple of sayings that always resonated with me. One is the wind blows the strongest at the top of the mountain.
Yes.
So you're taking the heat, and the other, which is, a complete lie, is shit rolls downhill. That's bullshit. Shit rolls uphill.
Uphill. Oh, hell
right?
Yeah. Yeah, none of this fucking downhill shit. I'm sorry. I love everybody that was working for me, but at the end of the day, it's your responsibility to keep those fucking doors open.
Exactly. And if there's a problem, it's mine. At the end of the day, it's mine to fix.
Yeah.
But and then another thing that I've learned that I didn't know going into this is that nobody knows what you're going through. Nobody. I can share my day with somebody and they're like, I don't get it. Or they'll act like they get it. They'll show empathy. But at the end of the day, you don't walk in these shoes and you don't know what it's like, right?
Well, it's the way. It's the way. It's because you care.
Right.
By the way, that's because you care. I've met plenty of leaders, plenty of juice, and they walk out every day not giving two shits about anybody around them. So hats off to you, because that is a sacrifice. Good leaders sacrifice because weight is heavy to carry.
Right. And I think for any leader, thanks, man. I appreciate that too, by the way.
That's just the truth, dude.
It always makes me feel uncomfortable.
I don't kiss ass. Not yours, not Chris's, not nobody's. That's not how this works.
Right. But the that motorcycle, that's where you get away. For a while, you just don't have to think about. I had a great conversation with John Harmon. He's the president of FR Secure today, and we're talking about planning out to 2025. And it's just there's a lot of decisions that need to be made along the way, and a lot to consider. So you take it in, and then you take his documentation, because I'm going to have to come back to this, and you go ride, get the fuck out of here.
Yeah, that definitely takes some work, and especially at the moment when you start taking a look, it's like, okay, where are we going? What are we doing? How are we going to do it? How flexible do we make those plans? How many controls? What's going to happen? What's the influences on them and all? Yeah, I remember doing some of that shenanigans. Probably not to the same extent, because you've had the company now for way more freaking years. I think, and how long have you had? How long's FR been going now?
Well, since 2008.
Yeah, that's crazy. You've had that. I think since you've had that, I've had four companies. I think four or five companies in that time frame. Yeah, that's freaking amazing. Yeah, that's absolutely amazing.
Well, and the crazy shit about it is now I'm running two companies. So who the fuck does that? At the same time, it's like, okay, I don't know. I got it in, but it's the purpose that drives it. Back to the point, of the show, it's the purpose.
Yeah.
It causes you to do things that you wouldn't normally do. I think if my purpose was to be comfortable, I would have just stuck with FR Secure. It's very comfortable. It's a profitable company. It's running very well. I've got a great management team. There's no reason to go off and start another company. But if the mission is to make a difference, to fix the broken industry, well, then I'm not done. I'm not done with the consulting company. I can't do it with that.
Yeah. No, that's I think similar kind of thing. It's like, okay, that's the struggle, and that's honestly why it's been nice hanging out with Gabrielle, is you can see, I don't have it in me. The graphics he does, some of the other stuff he does, he's amazing on the product side, like absolutely fantastic on that side of things. And in the way his mind works, it's really nice to be able to actually work with him and spin backwards and forwards on things. I got to be honest, if I could afford, again, back to the if I could afford to not actually have to deal with like 8 or 9 or 10 other clients that I'm dealing with, it'd be fun just to hang out and do the shit with him all the time. But,
and the offer is still there for us. We started the discussions about you coming and working.
Yeah, we'll take that offline, to be perfectly honest. We might have that. Yeah.
Yeah, because one of the things I've learned, and it comes with wisdom and it comes with experience in this industry, is you align yourself with people that have similar purposes.
Yeah.
It's the same with business partnerships. It's the same with your employees. It's the same with people, your friends, people like you, Ryan, and Gabriel. Gabriel and I had a talk today, and we are in alignment in our whys. He may be a little bit more motivated by something else, but can I use that something else? Can I use his purpose to serve mine? And can he use mine to serve his?
Yeah. He's interesting, and he'll probably end up listening to this at some point. But what I love about it is there's not the financial motivation. It's kind of cool. It's to his credit, he did. I don't know exactly how well, and quite honestly, I don't care.
Mm-hmm.
But from everything I'm picking up from what is and isn't being said, he's secure enough that he doesn't have to do this, and he does it because it's driving him, because he wants to do it. And I kind of like that. It's actually really, really cool. It's a very different philosophy.
I love it. And what he's done for us just in the 2 short phone calls is he took a look at our S2Me tool. Just the personal risk assessment tool.
Yeah.
And gave us some feedback on how to, because he is a product wizard, right?
Oh, he's freaking fantastic at that side of things. Like seriously good at it.
Yeah. And so when he offered last week, hey, I'll take a look at it and give you some feedback. I'm like, hell yes, please.
Evan, what happened to your camera, Evan?
I hate sharing my camera, man. You know
Yeah,
that,
well, too bad. That's the deal. Turn the damn thing on.
Rich. Ryan, quit calling me out, dog.
I can't help it, bro. I can't help it.
This is not
It's what I do. It's what I do.
Oh, that's
So
awesome.
I do have to give a quick shout out to one of our loyal listeners and fans. So I have to give a shout out to Justin. Justin is watching us on his big screen TV in his living room.
Oh, no way. Oh, that's awesome.
Yep, just sent me a picture, so I had to give him a shout out for that.
And you know who else is in his garage while he's working on his car right now is Tony Alsleben.
Tony.
Yeah.
He's working on his car. What car's he got? Any idea?
He's got a lot of nice cars. I don't know what he's working on right now, but he was trying to pull a power steering pump out last time I saw on something.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. All right. Now I'm walking around my damn house with my camera.
I was going to almost do the same thing. I was going to grab the iPad and go sit outside with it, but I almost need two of them. I need the one that actually has us on it, and then the other one with the YouTube on it, so that we can keep up on all the conversations. Again, Rachel is doing such a freaking awesome job just keeping you're getting yelled at by Tony as well to keep the camera on.
See?
Keep the camera off?
No, keep it on. We want to see you. You don't get to escape.
This is the entertainment right here.
Yeah, awesome. I love it.
Hey, so I think that my advice to people, with this why thing is to find people that have similar purpose, right? And learn to discern the difference between your purpose and somebody else's purpose, because there are a lot of people in this industry that I think we have a lot of wolves in amongst the flock who are devouring sheep, right? Because is it any different if I get $100,000 stolen from me from the bad guys, or I spend $100,000 on something that's just I'm never going to use? The net of it is I lost $100,000 that I can't use to drive my business.
Yeah, that's a good point.
So find those people that are in alignment. Like me and Kevin Mitnick would never hang out.
Yeah.
It just, we don't have the same why. I'm not into making you more money. I'm not into, making your ego any bigger. I'm into fixing shit. I'm into helping people, So, and I love the fact and where you fit with my why, because I always think of that stuff too. I'm like, is it worth investing my, to Ryan's point, you only have so much time. Where am I going to invest my time? Well, I'm going to invest it with people that I think will provide the biggest boost to my purpose, and that I can also help them with theirs. Right. Yeah. So, and that's why, I'm so intrigued. I'm so happy that Tony, not Tony Alsleben, but Tony Cole made the introduction to us.
Yeah, totally. It's totally freaking awesome.
He's like, hey, this guy thinks like you. You might want to talk.
Tony's fantastic. I have so much respect for him. Again, as a human being, he's really interesting. He's like the civilized version of me. I always joked with him. He was always like the civilized one. Very, very eloquent. Rarely could you get him to say anything other than "oh darn it" or "oh heck" or anything like that. Just very, very measured and way more tolerance as well. I mean, especially with some stuff that is, from the previous function. Just a ton of respect for him in how he thought about things. It was always a lot of fun hanging out with him. I do miss that at the Atiba. I miss that. Yeah.
Well, and I also have a ton of respect. And Tony would be another one of those people that'd be in alignment.
Yeah, I would agree. A different way of thinking about things, but still in alignment, I think.
Yeah. And so I try to think like, the people that are in alignment, put them in my alignment bucket. You know what I mean? The people that are not in alignment or clearly not in alignment, put them in another bucket of, because I do like cut and dry. I mean, it's either you're with me or you're not. Either we're an ally or we're an adversary. If you're taking money from people and you're not helping them, you're an adversary. I'm sorry.
I'd say Ron Werner is another one who's very much in line with
Ron Werner.
Yeah,
If you don't know, you should
WOER.
know. He's a
It
really
rings a huge bell. Yeah.
Well, Amy McLaughlin.
Oh, Amy's amazing. Love Amy.
Oh
Love
no,
Amy.
Ron. Yeah, Amy's fantastic. Hell, we got Rachel on here as well, for crying out loud. I mean, there's so many folks.
Rachel,
Yeah.
Tony. So,
Yeah.
is it our is part of the fix to continue to push out the people that are in misalignment with us? I don't know. Because it's either change their alignment so that they're allies and not adversaries, or do we just continue the status quo bullshit that we're just doing now, spinning our wheels?
We become the most attractive movement.
There we go. Can we make almost? Can we? I was going to say, can we make more noise? Can we?
Yep.
Yeah. Better way of putting it.
Become the most attractive movement.
Yeah.
That's how we do this. We form narratives, and we got to, we missed an opportunity today to make a stupid, silly video. But God's honest truth, guys.
Oh, that's right.
Just doing dipshit stuff. We got to start the cybersecurity ice bucket challenge or something. I mean, it really is that.
Are we going to door on Saturday?
Yes, I'm down. Justin's going to be there to film. I'll bring my fancy camera.
Okay, so you're going to be
awesome.
you're going to be Brother Ryan. I'll be Brother.
I'm all for it, dude. 100%. You want to do this with clipboards? You want to do suit and tie? What's the attire?
We got to bring some kind of. They always hand out pamphlets. We got to make a.
Okay, I got a couple people we can hit up for that.
Yeah, we got to make a pamphlet, and then, they usually carry like their version of the Bible or something. So we'll carry one of my unsecurity books.
And a copy of the 853 in a binder, in a 3-ring binder. We'll carry the 853 in a 3-ring binder.
Yeah.
I was going to say 2600 in a binder.
Same difference. Slightly different words, exact same questions.
I stumbled across an Nmap. I wrote an article for 2600 back in it would have been like in the 90s sometime about how to use Nmap.
Oh no shit.
I'll have to find that and forward that to you guys because it's kind of funny.
It's
still valid.
There was a freaking amazing. Oh no shit! Tell me about it. I actually just downloaded it onto an attack machine earlier on this evening.
Yep.
Somebody put something up on Twitter about a new tool that they'd done, which can scan an entire IP addresses, 65,000 ports inside like 19 seconds, and then somebody else wrote back like, oh, like you can do this with Nmap, like Nmap dash this dash 40,000 this, da da da. Like, yeah, if all you ever do is do quick scan or quick stance plus, you really don't know Nmap. And I'm like, yes.
Have you ever
done those fucking flags?
Have you ever met Fyodor?
Yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah.
I've never met him.
Yep.
I got the book.
Oy vey.
That's the Bible right there, nice and thick.
Nice.
I'm not allowed to put on that I had my SSP. I have a letter from the CIA, from the ISC squared lawyers, that I am not allowed to darken their doorstep ever again. Bless them.
Yeah, they probably said something about the cannons or some bullshit, whatever.
Yeah, bless them. It's kind of cute. It's like I had it for more years than I care to think of.
But that's going back to the reason why you're such a strong ally for me and my purpose is I do greatly value and admire your ability to communicate the shit that you communicate in the way you communicate it. You know what I mean? So no matter how much flack you catch for that shit, keep doing it, man. It's making a difference. That's what your purpose is. So keep making a difference. Seriously.
Thank you. No, I appreciate it. I was still Gabrielle and I were talking about this because of like the dictionary thing, the compendium thing that we're putting together. He's like, for whatever reason, you just have a way with words. I'm like, I don't know why. I don't know what the logic is. I don't know what the switch is, what muse is keeping an eye over my shoulder or what it is. But it was like getting angry last night. And I'm like, okay, I've got to be able to put this into words. And the Ancient Mariner rhyme came up and I'm like, oh, I need to use this somewhere. And for me, it's fun. It's that puzzle. It's the tinkerer thing. But instead of now tinkerer, what says he, it's got a bunch of Orbeez and shit that I'm in the middle of taking to pieces. Cause I blame Ryan, I blame you for that shit, by the way. Mr. Hey, all this stuff
Not
is
sorry.
broken. I'm like, sweet, let me go play with some of it. But instead of messing around that way, I love messing around with language and trying to. I have fun with it. You know, I love taking crazy abstract ideas and then trying to bring some level of relevance. We're storytellers. I mean, at the end of the day, we're storytellers. The way that we as humans have always managed to convey messages and say, you know, don't touch the fire because it's hot or shit, is all through stories. So,
Oh, very much so.
yeah, and it's just
Well, there's that, and there's a boldness in you that few people have. Like you say shit that's true, and you don't. When you read it, it's like, yeah, you don't give a shit about offending somebody because you believe so much in what it is you're saying. And that's the shit that makes a difference. That and as well as the storytelling, because the storytelling makes it relevant.
Yeah.
But the fact that you don't back down, we need people that aren't going to back down from the bullshit.
And a certain demographic of Chris's fans would love to see him ghostwrite some romance novels. So you should be thinking about cybersecurity romance novels.
Oh, I've not heard that one.
I'm just saying, Chris, I have heard from the fan base. And I can assure you I've heard more than once from a particular demographic of the fan base that you should ghostwrite some romance novels.
No, you shouldn't. We don't have time for that. We got an industry to fix.
It could be fun. Oh my God, it could be fun.
Oh no, they see. Here's the problem. It's Evan. See, if Chris ghostwrites them, the narrative will already be cybersecurity. It's gonna be it's not gonna be the tall, dark, and handsome detective. It's gonna be the tall, dark, and bearded pen tester. So I just, you know, we got to meet people where they are.
Oh, I've not heard that. That's hilarious. I didn't really. Oh, that's funny. Now I'm embarrassed to all hell.
No. It's
One
good.
of my favorite. One of my. I mean, I love reading.
Sure.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, there we go.
Guys, seriously, we actually need to make some shirts for the show. We do. If nothing else, for the three of us.
Yeah, for Rachel.
And Rachel, yes.
Yeah, we need a Rachel.
Four of us. Our sister in solidarity.
And Tony, I'll get one for you, and I'll get one for.
Well, I'll tell you. How about this? How about we make some shirts, we put them up for sale, and we'll donate the proceeds.
Yeah.
Perfect. I love that idea. I think that's freaking awesome.
We'll give it to a scholarship for cyber or something. We'll find a
request, because this is one of my pet peeves with most shirts in our industry, is it's all on the front. I love something on the front like here, and then all the stuff.
Oh yeah. The little chest piece on the front, but the back's where the action's at. Absolutely.
Yeah. You're awesome. Thank you.
Yep.
All right. So Ryan, are you taking that on to design that?
Yes, I'm making a note now. I will have something whipped together. I'll run it past you guys.
And I'll write the script for our recordings on Saturday.
Dear sir or madam, hi. We're cybersecurity missionaries, and
Can I come in and pray with you?
Well,
can I come in and pray for your security? Can I pray for your router?
I actually talked to.
We got to go do that. We got to lay hands.
No, got to bless the router. You have to bless the router.
Yeah.
Yes.
Lay
Bell book
hands.
and candle. You've got to come in with a bell book and candle. Oh my God, the antivirus. Bell book and shit. We need an antivirus country. We need an antivirus company called Bell Book and Candle. Please.
Ryan. And then when we walk in, if we see an Alexa, spawn. We'll get out the holy water.
Exorcism on the Alexa.
Start throwing water at it.
Oh, speaking of Alexa,
Start ordering stuff off of it. That's usually the best deterrent to an Alexa is a randomly purchased bulk of sex toys.
Speaking of Alexa, so I got Verizon. I'm with Verizon. Moved all the stuff, the company stuff and everything over to Verizon, and Verizon sent me this thing. They're like, "Hey, you can get a free Amazon Echo Dot and a free plug," and I'm like, "Well, shit, hell yeah!" So this one hasn't been taken to pieces yet, but it's probably, if I get a chance this weekend, it's coming to pieces. It's gonna get excised.
That's awesome. That's awesome.
Alexa's going Scottish. Let's just put it that way.
I like it.
All right. So alignment, we're aligned. People that aren't aligned, we're just going to be louder than them.
Yep.
We're going to keep doing what we're doing. Let's keep, obviously keep doing the shit show, attract more people into the right, what I think is the right way of thinking. It's certainly the right motivation. We don't have all the answers, but we do have the right motivation to make a difference, to help people, to, not
and
take.
We know core truths. We know core truths, and that is digital is physical, truth. Safety is on the line, truth.
Truth, yeah.
Ryan is good looking, truth.
Yeah, he has to be the face of this.
Future is on the line, truth.
Yeah, future is on the line.
Right? So knowing that those are the core tenets, the core truths, right? That's the undercurrent of it all. That's the base message. Hey, average everyone, you're in 2020 with us. Okay? So patch your phone, wear a mask if you're required, and it's okay to disagree and not hate the other person. If we accomplish nothing more in this world than that, we will have made it a better place.
Well, and I think teach people how to get in touch with what their why actually is, right?
Oh, for sure. I would love to know the why behind a lot of things right now. I'm like,
no.
I don't just want to call you crazy.
Your why. Your why. Right? Don't try to figure out somebody else's why if you haven't figured out your own.
Oh, true. But as one who understands their why, I am very curious as to the motivation of others. I see things all the time where I'm like, what the fuck were you thinking?
But and learn to act
into that.
Like Chris, it was like the first conversation or maybe the second conversation we had of substance when I'd asked you what you want to do.
Yeah. Yep.
Because I was never going to go down the path of introducing FR Secure as, a company that, that we could work together at if we're not aligned, right? If you want to do this thing, but we're doing this thing, well, then it's great.
It's another, you actually, so you said it, I think the simplest term, and I'm trying to think, again, I'm trying to take it a step back and going in one sentence. I think you said it the best way, Evan, which is look in the mirror. Why are you here? And that's it. Look in the mirror and ask simply, why are you here? It's beyond just money. It's beyond putting food on the table, especially in our industry.
Oh, for sure. Dude, money's easy.
Especially in our industry. Now, there's a lot of other people out there that don't have that. Yeah, a lot of other people that don't have that. And it is, I have a job because I have to do money. I think in our industry, I think there's a lot of people, not everybody, there are a lot of people that have the flexibility of choice. And I think it's those people that I would look to, because so many of them are at the senior level where they can influence a lot of the people. I think, Evan, to your point, it really is look in the mirror and go, why am I here? That's it. Nothing else.
Yeah. And you just brought up another good point too. A lot of us are senior, right? We're not going to be in this industry forever. I see a new crop of information security people coming into this industry that I think have the right intentions. I think a lot of them do have the right why, maybe, but I don't think it's implicit. I don't think they've learned to truly look in the mirror. And we live in a shortcut, easy button, instant gratification world today where you don't become really, really good at this by taking shortcuts, by looking for easy buttons, by instant gratification. It's a shitload of work.
Yeah.
We've read, between the three of us and probably many of the listeners, we have read hundreds and hundreds of books. We have built labs, torn down labs. You just can't get there overnight, right? Because I see a lot of people who come into this industry like, a brand new pen tester, or maybe you hire him as like just a junior analyst, right? And, like my own son, actually, they don't report to me, right? It's a couple layers down of who he reported to. I'm like, so, what are you studying? And he's 6 months out of college.
Right.
Because I'm studying for the OSCP. why the fuck are you studying for that?
Yeah.
Oh, right. I'm like, maybe you should start out with like how networks work.
I mean, no shit. Yeah, go down to freaking the secondhand pawn shop, buy an old
Network
computer,
Plus.
take the fucking thing to pieces, and find out what every single component in there actually does, and how they talk to each other.
Yeah,
Exactly.
but it's hard. It's hard to take a minute to look in the mirror in a 15-second world.
True. You have to make time for it.
Yeah. All right. Fair. No, fair. No.
You have
it's priorities. It's priorities.
Exactly. It is a making time issue. It is a taking time. Hence the multiple hours I will be up after this.
Yeah.
Reflecting. There's so much value. So back to something I said earlier tonight. I want a better world. That means I got to be better people.
Yeah.
And that means you got to be better people. So what can I do to help make you better people?
And vice, it's all the communication, the collaboration, the cooperation.
It's introspection. Yeah, introspection, self-reflection, deep thoughts of Jack Handy, whatever you want to call it. It is, I think of it as an enlightened activity. To be honest, the people I've met that don't have that skill, I'm like, ooh.
Well, I think it's along those same lines. I think it's good for your mental health.
It's amazing for your mental health. The better you know, I've said this to people before that struggle with love. A lot of my friends see my relationship and they're envious because on the outside it looks to be wildly successful. By the way,
are you talking about a relationship again?
I'm just saying on the inside, it also looks pretty successful, right? Yeah. And that's because it's based on honesty, communication in the moment.
Yeah.
There's festering allowed to happen.
Yeah.
We are very open to your opinions, your thoughts, your feelings, but we're also quick to check each other if we're presenting our information in a way that is charged.
Yep.
Charged information does not lead to good dialogue.
No.
Right?
Yeah. Good point.
So they're like, hey man, you got this great thing and this and that and this, and it goes back to simple things. Happiness is a choice. Forgiveness is a choice. Compassion is a choice. And doing these things for each other makes you actually feel better. I'm super selfish, by the way.
Well, it does help that you marry like an awesome woman.
Well, yeah. I mean, to put you understand what it takes to have me live in the house with you.
As a brother who loves you, I see you taking a little too much credit for this.
She's amazing. I can't be me without her. Let's be clear, right? Like, why do I get to sit and pontificate? Because I don't have to pay the bills, do the laundry, do the
they say
dinner, right? So I get to
sometimes say a better half. Marlis, my wife is like the better 7/8.
Oh, I like this. This is a new concept to me, but I'm embracing it.
Right. I am happy to exist in her presence.
But one of the things that I think we need to, that I hope we as a people can do, is take some of this compassion that we have for the people we like and start to apply it to strangers. And especially security people. Stop blaming the user. Yep, they're dumb. I get it. You get it. We all get it. Why are they dumb? Because of us.
Yeah,
they're not dumb.
Yeah.
Right? Dumb in regards to their risk and awareness levels, and not dumb as actually stupid. I'm not implying their IQs are low. Their unfamiliarity with the topic. Like if I'm flying on a plane and all of a sudden the pilot's like, hey bro, I need you to pitch hit real quick, jump in this seat. I got the trots because I had the fish and it was bad. So if you could just hook this up no, it's super easy. You got this and you just watch those and don't even worry, man, you got this.
Yeah.
I would do it.
We're all gonna die.
Yeah, I'd do it.
I'm gonna give it my best try.
I got the laptop out. I'm pretty sure that worked before.
First thing about flying a plane, right? It's not going to be good. And that's unfortunately what we do to our businesses. It's what we do to our users. It's what we, Well,
we failed to just stop, we just failed to understand why. I mean, what motivates them? Why do you exist? Why does this business do what it does? And then tie your why into their why.
Yeah.
I don't know how many information security programs I've seen that are in complete misalignment with the mission of the business.
Too
You're
many
not-
posts. Yeah.
If you're not enabling the mission of the business, you shouldn't be there.
Well, that's why when I do tabletop exercises, even before doing them, I'll sit down with leadership and I'm like, okay, how can I kill your company in the next 24 hours? I'm going to shut you down tomorrow. You'll be out of business. How would I do it? And it's really freaking interesting to listen to those answers. And it's amazing because you go around the various different people around the table, and all of a sudden, somebody over here didn't think about the fact that finance over there, if I'd stop the bank or I do stuff that takes them, nobody thought that a handful of sand in manufacturing will kill the business or in the pipeline. And all of a sudden, everybody suddenly realizes, and you can really start to have an amazing set of conversations at that point in time. But it takes that. It takes opening those conversations up that way.
Absolutely. An information security program that's in alignment.
Right.
The purpose of the program is that's in alignment with the purpose of the business.
Yeah.
You find you're also in alignment with the culture of the, and everything works.
Yeah.
You can do all of that, but if you do not have active buy-in from everybody, if you don't have the employee,
you will. If you're in alignment with their mission.
Yeah. It's the rowing. It's the rowing analogy. You're all rowing in the same direction.
It's right.
That's all it comes down to. Yeah.
But too often I've seen decent security programs from a controls perspective, from a policy perspective, from an operations perspective that fall flat because the employee is not engaged in
they're engaged once a year. They're engaged once a year.
If
when they start.
Dude, Chris, come on. I've done it. You've done it. How many, especially being in this business, you try to give me security awareness training? You've got to be kidding me. Next, finish.
Yeah, exactly. Or if they've been sneaky because you can't fast forward the damn thing, you just go off and make a cup of tea and you come back and same answers that you had from last year.
Monitors. Cup of tea my ass. I'm on Facebook real quick. I'm going to take this survey on how I'm a unicorn who loves rainbows covered in chocolate.
Yeah.
And while I'm busy doing that, I'm going to give away my bank account routing and my PayPal login.
Oh, God, don't even.
They said I needed it, Chris. They told me. They said, Ryan, you cannot find out if you're a chocolate covered unicorn if you do not give
Unless you hand over all the information.
You have to hand over your PayPal login. It's the only way.
All right. Getting off the rails now.
Well, it is 12:23 at night. So what do you want?
Oh my God, we've been going for like 2.5 hours.
We've gone for 2.5 hours.
I apologize.
And we still have 16 people hanging on.
All right, let's wrap this shit up. We got shit to do because we got to write a script for this thing on Saturday. We're going to send it to Chris, get his input.
Yeah, yell if you want some help with it. You know the deal.
Yeah, and we'll publish that shit, and that'll be fun as hell, and we'll start doing that regularly. But I learned a shitload tonight.
Yeah, this was a good evening. Thank you. It was needed. It was needed.
Yeah.
And it was appreciated, especially also the conversations as well. Okay, a unicorn. Shepard apparently likes unicorns as well. We're in good shape.
Well, when you mentioned chocolate and unicorn, I'm thinking of a unicorn shitting. So
yeah, I mean that's the problem. That's kind of where my head went. Yeah, it wasn't to the correct end of the whole thing. We failed.
Yeah.
It's life.
Purple squirrel.
There we go. I can deal with that.
All right. I love you guys. Have a great Friday.
Yeah, you too.
Yes, gentlemen. I'll see you this weekend, Ev.
All right. Take care, guys. Love you guys.
Bye.
All right. Bye-bye.